Just gone 10 o'clock. Nick, headlines, my friend.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Thank you very much, Ali. Now, former Spurs striker Clive Allen's told talkSPORT relegation alarm bells are ringing, but he hasn't given up hope.
A couple of results, and that's what we've got to strive for. First, let's get one result, wherever it might be. A point at Liverpool. You have to have that belief, determination and desire to try to achieve that.
Spurs are just 1 point off the bottom three after Igor Tudor's 3 defeats. Harry Redknapp's told us, of course, he'd pick up the phone to Spurs, but it won't happen. Now, Sunderland forward Luke O'Nine's told us the Premier League atmosphere hasn't lived up to expectations. You can watch that chat back on the talkSPORT YouTube. Daniel Farke's got a one-match touchline ban. That's for confronting the ref at Man City. Farke will sit out of Leeds' FA Cup game with Norwich live on talkSPORT this Sunday. In F1, Aston Martin's principal says his team are in a scary place and might not even make the grid on Sunday. Aston Martin have got battery problems ahead of Sunday's season opener in Melbourne. Brendan McCullum wants to stay on as England cricket head coach, but talkSPORT's Steve Harmison reluctantly thinks it might be time.
The Ashes alone, the poor preparation, the poor planning, the poor performance, I mean, on-field, off-field, somebody's got to be made accountable, and unfortunately for me, it would be Brendan.
England narrowly lost the T20 World Cup semi-final to India after a disastrous Ashes, and Lionel Messi's been to the White House with MLS Cup winning Inter Miami, but Donald Trump was rather taken with Argentina's holding midfielder.
Leo picked the pocket of a white-cap defender and sent a pass to the great Rodrigo de Paul. Do you have any bad-looking players? You know? I like the bad-looking guys much better.
More at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
4 people have been arrested on suspicion of spying on London's Jewish community on behalf of Iran. And the US Defence Secretary says strikes on Iran are about to surge dramatically. More from the news team in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Scotland and Northern Ireland largely dry with plenty of sunshine. England and Wales cloudy with rain across northern and western England and Wales this morning, then across southeast England later. Cooler than yesterday.
Hello, very good morning to you. You're listening to Sam Matterface Alex Crook and the former Aston Villa striker Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live on talkSPORT till 1 o'clock this afternoon. So, a 14th league defeat for Tottenham Hotspur as they self-destruct once again. Are they truly on course for a relegation battle? How do you stop this team hurtling towards the bottom 3? Spurs fans, have you given up on your team already? Is there levers that you can still pull? 03717 22 33 Do you want Igor Tudor to still be the manager? Does it even matter anymore? Have you appointed the wrong guy at the wrong time? Or is this a little bit more wider than that? Have the board let you down again? Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest have told Edu, the global head of football, to stay away from the club as his departure moves just a step closer. Did his appointment derail the best season in 30 years? Also today, the old firm reunite 1 week on, but how will the dynamic of the fans alter proceedings? And we look ahead to some of the weekend's biggest FA Cup ties. It's Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook, and we're here through till 1. And as well as listen to us, you can watch the show as well. Our talkSPORT is available on your television. Pretty easy. All you need to do is download the talkSPORT app on the connected TVs, Samsung, LG, Fire TV, Apple TV, Chromecast, Android and Google TV. as well. And if you were watching that app last night, you may well have seen Jamie O'Hara storm out of the studio when Jason Cundy gave him a bit of a ribbing about Tottenham's performance last night. The reaction on the to Spurs' defeat on the sports bar, unprecedented, and this morning it is as well. We haven't even opened our mouths yet, and already we have a full board of Spurs callers. 03717 223344. Spurs in danger of relegation for the first time since 1977 after their captain was sent off and they imploded again. Gabby Agbonlahor is here. Hello.
Hello.
I know you wound up Jamie O'Hara yesterday, so can you try not to do that again today, please?
No, I want to apologise live on air for what I did.
No, you don't.
You're right, Crookie. I don't want to apologise. I changed my mind.
You put up a video taking the mickey out of him yesterday on Instagram, didn't you? Which was out of order.
No, because it was retaliation.
Was it?
Two days ago, when my beloved Aston Villa, were losing, he posted a picture of me on Twitter, me crying in a Villa shirt. So it was retaliation, and we're even now, and I'm sure we can make up. Even though he hasn't followed me on social media, which is very extreme.
Yeah,
it's very Spurs player like, isn't it?
He's taking it very badly.
Yeah. He's taking it to social media like Spurs players do with their managers.
Ah, yes. Well, okay, I suppose we'll talk a little bit about that because there was some emotional reactions last night, but maybe not enough cohesive deployment of that passion on the pitch. 03717 223344. They took an early lead last night and then conceded 3 goals before half-time. The captain was sent off for a ridiculous decision to give away a penalty, pulling back Ismaila Sarr in the penalty area, Mickey van der Ven. I mean, what does this tell us about Tottenham Hotspur that we didn't already know?
Nothing, really. It tells you what we've been saying for a few weeks and months now, that it's a dressing room full of over-entitled players whose ego outweigh their football ability. It was a ridiculous, brainless decision from Mickey van der Ven, but he's not the first Tottenham captain to let them down this season. He probably won't be the last. You've got Pedro Porro with his usual theatrics, slapping seats in the dugout after being taken off. Do your fighting on the pitch. Show you care on the pitch. It's all optics. It's all for the cameras. They made a terrible appointment in Igor Tudor. That was never going to work out. It's very difficult for an interim manager to come into that kind of dressing room and get a tune out the players. He's tried to go down the sort of Ralph Rangnick route of saying that, that the attitude is not good enough, they need to run more. They're not going to listen to him. They didn't listen to Thomas Frank, who had a long-term contract, so why are they going to listen to someone who's only there?
Why are they not listening to him? Are they thinking to themselves they're too good to go down?
Yeah. I think it's egos. You look at these players. We spoke about it for the last 3 months, lads, about games that I've watched with Spurs when Thomas Frank speaking to the players on the sideline when they're coming on the subs. They're not even looking at him. So what chance did Tudor have coming?
But you've got to understand the predicament you're in. They've lost 11. They've gone winless in 11 games. It's their worst run since 1935 in the league.
12 points in the last 20 league games.
They were a very bad team. They were a very bad team last season, and they got away with it because the 3 teams that came up from the Championship were
They've had a lot of injuries as well.
And they won the European trophy, but they didn't beat anyone to get to that final. And United didn't turn up in the final, and Tottenham fans have latched onto that. It doesn't change the fact that they lost so many Premier League games.
They're losing games.
Why are we surprised?
They're losing games with Benton Cole fit. They're losing games with Kudus fit. I get it, Kulusevski, Maddison and Solanke being out for the majority of the season. I get that. But there's still quality players that aren't up for the fight.
03717 223344. You've changed the manager, you've changed the formation, you've changed the players in the team, you've changed the chairman as well. What levers have Tottenham still got to pull? 03717 223344. We mentioned Pedro Porro there and his sort of theatrics as he came off. We mentioned Mickey van der Ven making a stupid decision to pull back Ismaila Sarr. We've talked about Romero in the past. We've talked about the fact that Vicario has sometimes made emotional decisions. Was it the right appointment bringing in someone who's a firebrand, who was going to rattle the cages into a dressing room with emotional characters like that already?
No. The issue you've got is they're a team of bluffers, Tottenham. And I think Igor Tudor has been around the block long enough to know that he's inherited a team of bluffers, which is why he's tried the hard-line approach, tried to out them publicly. They're not going to respond. Yeah, Thomas Frank is not a bad manager. He's certainly not a bad guy. The way he was treated by certain players in that dressing room is a disgrace. And that's coming home to roost now for Tottenham.
I just think these players will look at it, Sam. Nottingham Forest players up for the fight. Leeds United up for the fight. West Ham showing fight. These Spurs players are probably already speaking to their agents.
Yeah.
Oh, will you get me out? You'll get me out, won't you? Wages are going to go down. You'll get me out. You'll get me a move, won't you, to a European team? They're not looking at it as like, whoa, I've got a battle in the Championship to get Spurs back up. They're not thinking like that. That's why they will go down. West Ham players are showing fight.
They're not going to go down.
I think they might. I think they might, you know.
Tottenham can't go down.
Why not?
You keep asking me this question. I can't give you an answer because 6 weeks ago I would have said to you the other teams are just too bad. There's too many points to make up. They will just about get over the line. They'll be in it, but they won't go down. Now, when you ask me, all I can say is I don't know why they won't go down, but I just don't feel that Tottenham can go down. They can't, surely.
But in recent form, they can. I mean, if you look at the form table, Sam, like, I think it's 19 Premier League games they've lost since the start of last season. It's incredible what Spurs are doing. Like, who's going to be up for the fight out of those players? Van der Ven, suspended for Liverpool.
Well, the problem is that you've got a manager who went into the dressing room, basically gave them some home truths, came out after the Fulham game and ripped into his players, said that they were late to every ball, that they were making wrong decisions, they didn't use their brain, and then last night tried to tell everybody that actually it was all going to be okay.
They're disappointed, they wanted more. We are aware of that. We also want to give more. Fortunately, this is the moment that we pay everything. I will tell you now, maybe it will sound strange, but I believe more after this game than I believe before. I saw something. I need to choose the right guys because the boat, I said, now is going in direction that I want to go, that need to go, and who is in the boat can stay. Otherwise, can bow down. How you said, leave the boat. So when the other players will come back and choosing the rights, I'm sure that we'll have a good teams and the victory will come back.
He says the boat's going in the right direction. Many people think it's a sinking ship. What has he seen to suggest that there are people that he wants in his boat?
I think you look at the starting lineup. Simmons stood out for me not starting. I think he's looking at that and saying, like, I'm going to pick the players that are going to fight for me, the players that are going to run around, maybe not the luxury players.
That's a bit harsh on Xavi Simons. He was the one player who stayed behind when they ludicrously gave the players 5 days off after they fired Thomas Frank. Stayed behind to do extra training.
I agree. I'm just saying what he's saying and what he's showing is when it was a tough game last night, a must-win for Spurs, he's gone without his star player, Xavi Simons. But I just look at these group of players, and the reason why I think they're going to go down, forget about fixtures. I don't care about the fixtures. It's fight. Nottingham Forest, everyone thought, this could be a 3-0 for Manchester City. No, we're going to fight. We're going to make it half. We're not going to give up. 2-2 draw.
Also, Forest are arguably a better team.
Of course
1-11 than Spurs.
Still got to play Spurs, by the way.
Spurs fixtures are absolutely horrendous. They've got 5 of the top 9, I think, 5 of the top.
You look a bit harassed by the prospect of Tottenham going down.
Do you know what?
You don't want them to go down.
I don't want them to go down, and I don't know why that is. But I was there last night, and I was speaking to my mates that are Tottenham fans, and I was hanging out after
his friends again,
just having a chat. And I was actually just quite sort of perplexed by the whole thing.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Sort of, I can't work out how this wonderfully good stadium with this brilliant training ground, with this team that have got to a Champions League final, then got to a League Cup final, then got to a Europa League final and won it, have ended up in a situation where they could plummet so far that they're having their worst season since 1977. How have they allowed this to happen?
You mentioned it in commentary last night, and it's something I've been saying for a number of years now. Their missed opportunity, their sliding doors moment was after getting to that Champions League final and not backing Mauricio Pochettino. They went a number of transfer windows without signing a single player. That was their opportunity to prove they were serious about becoming a real force, not just in English football, but in Europe as well. And then you go back to last summer, they get through the transfer window. I think it was the very next day we got that bombshell announcement that Daniel Levy was leaving the football club. I still maintain that's because the owners don't really want it anymore. They want to sell it. They push back on that. They tell us they're going to prioritise sporting success. They're going to invest money in the team. They haven't done that. There's a strong argument. It's not even an argument. Tottenham are worse without Daniel Levy calling the shots. I don't think they'd be in the mess they're in now if Daniel Levy was
They were already in a mess.
No, he wouldn't have let the Thomas Frank situation drift as it did. I think he's a good guy, good coach, but it clearly wasn't working out very early in his tenure. They should have made that call a lot earlier. They should have had a plan. That plan is not Igor Tudor coming in.
Why did they not
basis.
go and hire Robbie Keane, a manager who would have walked across the continent to get there, someone who knows about the club,
still would.
Probably would come in now if you asked him to. He would leave the job in Ferencvaros and take that if they gave him an 18-month contract. Why would you not have done that?
Though, Sam, is that the people?
Why would you try to be clever?
The people who've got their decision making in these football clubs don't know what they're doing. You've gone and got a coach because he's done it. He's had a good record at teams he's gone into.
Has he?
Happens. That's apparently so. He won his first game at Juventus. It was at Lazio. But when I look at Spurs and I watch them, these players don't care about the football club. These players don't care that, like, for instance, don't they play Chelsea second last game?
But I was just
Chelsea can probably send them down.
3 of the top 6 they've got between now and the end of the season. 3 of the top 6.
Isn't it Chelsea away as well,
and
Sam?
all 3 of those games are away from home. Liverpool away, Aston Villa away, Chelsea away. They've got at home Leeds and Everton to play as well. 2 difficult games. They've got Sunderland away from home.
Oh.
We know how difficult that is to go to. And a massive home game. Their next home game in the Premier League is against Nottingham Forest.
Wow. And who would you back in that game?
Forest.
Exactly, because they're showing fight.
Who would you back in every game with Tottenham at the moment?
I can't see Spurs where the next win's coming from. Look at Everton's form recently. You know, back Everton to go there and win.
And I've just said that, and I think they'll stay up somehow.
So who are they going to beat to stay up?
Do you know what? I think they'll have to. I think they'll have to change something. If they change something, change
the manager again.
But Sam,
get a firefighter in.
The problem I've got with them as well is, like,
I don't know. This is the problem. There's no levers left to pull, is there? There's nothing else to do. What can you do?
The players they have available, are they performing? Look at, for instance, Muani, 20 games, 1 goal. Tell, 21 games, 3 goals.
They're the same player.
Solanke, 9 games, 3 goals. Odegaard, 24 games, 0 goals. Kudus got injured, of course, 19 games, 2 goals. Richarlison, top goal scorer, how? 8 goals. Simmons, 22 games, 1 goal, £55 million signing. Conor Gallagher, 0, 0, 0, £250,000 a week, £35 million transfer fee.
Very, very quickly, because I know we want to break. I've been given the nickname Salty by Kate, and a lot of Tottenham fans regularly ring up and have a go at me for having a go at Spurs.
I think it makes sense, mate.
You were dancing around your living room last.
No, but is this not part of the problem? The Tottenham fans have been deluded because they won that European trophy.
Yep.
This has been coming. All I've ever done on this programme is speak truths. I genuinely don't care if Tottenham go up or stay down. I'm not bothered. But don't shoot the messenger for pointing out their shortcomings.
Is it the most Spursy thing ever, though, to go and win the Europa League and then Arsenal win the Premier League and Spurs get relegated? Is that just not Spursy, Sam?
03717223344. I imagine there's some Spurs fans who have already got, had a bad day. The last thing they need is you two piling in on them. 03717223344. My answer to the plan, says one texter, I really feel Poch is coming back, so they can't give anyone an 18-month deal, and I truly believe Poch would manage us on Hackney Marshes, so we'll come in if we go down. But here's the point, right? Even if they've already arranged for Poch to come back, right, he's not going to be back until what? The end of July, the middle of July, and that means that they're going to be without him for pre-season. Just lie to whoever it is that you want to bring in. Give them an 18-month contract and fire them once you get Pochettino in. Just do whatever it takes to stay in the Premier League, because staying in the Premier League is surely the most important
Pre-season
thing.
starts in June, by the way, in Championship.
This is talkSPORT. We've got calls coming up in a second. Stop it.
Let's go to Lauren, who's Arsenal fan. All right, Lauren?
Oh, hi. Hi, Jamie. Sorry, it's actually Laura, the Arsenal fan.
All right, Laura.
Hi. How are you, boys?
Yeah, we're good. How are you? You feeling good?
Up the Chelsea.
Oh, I'm feeling great. I've just come fresh off the back of presenting the Arsenal game on TNT and just, to be honest, really enjoyed it, Jay.
Oh, it's Woodsy.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Jamie!
Woodsy, you've done it.
What's happening?
Woodsy, why is it taking you so long to phone us up?
Do you know what? I've been revelling in a brilliant season and I've just been enjoying myself.
You know what? It's bad if Woodsy's phoning us up. It's bad. Hold on. Where have you been when you've been bottling it, Woodsy? What's happened? All of a sudden you go 7 points clear and you phone us.
Jamie, I had to scroll down my phone. It took about 5 minutes to find you on the table.
Oh, Woodsy, this is
scrolling.
Spurs ain't even played, and it's the worst night for us ever. I'm like, what is going on?
I don't even want to answer questions. I just want to ask you how you're feeling.
Woodsy, take the floor.
Woodsy.
I'll sit back and enjoy it. All right, take the
Woodsy,
floor.
I feel sick. I feel sick as a dog right now. Honestly.
How awful is it? How bad on a scale of like 1 to Spurs is it right now?
I can't believe I'm getting stick off Woodsy.
Woodsy, can I ask you,
talkSPORT.
Woodsy, can I ask you a question? Woodsy, do you want Spurs to get relegated?
If I had a choice of which one, is that what you're asking me?
Woodsy, answer whatever way you want, right? Do you want Spurs to get relegated?
No, I absolutely don't want Spurs to get relegated because I want to enjoy more North London derby pummeling for years to come. For years to come.
It is talkSPORT with Sam Matterface and Alex Crook and Selco's Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. The former England striker Gabby Agbonlahor is here as well. And we've got Tel, Kate, Dan, Nick, Ian, Mike, Dan and James all queued up and ready to go on the call. So we're going to rattle through it. Well, hold on a second.
What's Lincoln's ground called these days?
Stop.
It's not Central Bank anymore, is it?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Crookie is right. This has been coming for a long time. We never replaced key individuals when we knew they were leaving. Dembele, Trippier, Lloris, Kane and Son have operated in a transfer window like a mid-table team, and by bringing in experience and fighters, it's too late for the romantic reunion with Poch. Get Keane in tomorrow and make it 18-month contract. The club needs a lift and someone who cares. That's Stephen Suffolk. Oh, my God, I'm obsessed with Pochettino. They're obsessed with Pochettino. Absolute laughing stock. Crookie is right. The players just ain't good enough, overpaid and entitled. I pray they go down. Paul Cornell says, Tottenham are done either way and I'm heartbroken. Even if we go down, the players have checked out and we won't attract good enough talent to keep us competitive. Rotten to the absolute core. What are the owners saying? Since the narrative of we'll spend £100 million on players, heard nothing since. New Alex would be rage baiting and relishing in our demise. Is he actually a Manchester United fan or an Arsenal fan in disguise? One thing he always does that really irritates me is put Spurs fans in one group. We're not all like the morons that he engages with. I have been saying for years that we're a mid-table team and we shouldn't be in the big six. I genuinely can't stand most of our fan base, so really wish Alex Crook would show a bit of respect to the fans that aren't morons.
I think delusions of grandeur to say they're a mid-table team. The table doesn't suggest that.
I don't think any fans are morons. They've just got different opinions. Everyone's got different opinions, and that's absolutely fine. But you are a bit of a rage baiter, aren't you?
Mid-table would be a big improvement for them.
Dan is a Spurs fan. Hello. Try to be a little bit professional, the two.
Good morning, Dan.
Dan.
Hope you're well, mate.
Good morning.
What do you want to say, Dan? Were you at the game last night?
Unfortunately, I was. I'm really shocked that last night, around 11 o'clock, Tudor was not sacked. I was absolutely raging all the way home. I can't even be bothered to refresh my phone to check if he's going to be sacked or not, because it's literally ridiculous.
Why are you blaming him?
Yeah, why would he get sacked?
He needs to be sacked. He's absolutely clueless. So I'll tell you why very quickly. So the first game was against Arsenal. It was his first game. He played 3 at the back. I can accept it. Arsenal, fantastic team. Second game, I expected a bit more. He abandoned his 3 at the back. He went to 4 at the back. And our performance at Fulham, we could have lost 5-1.
Yeah.
Which West Ham then, in the week, beat them 1-0. Then we came to last night. He played Porro at right centre-half, our best crosser.
Yeah. Yep.
He played Archie Gray out on the right wing. What I'm really, really hoping isn't true is that he didn't start Richarlison, Gallagher and Simmons. And I did wonder in the back of my mind, is he resting them for the Champions League? Because those 3 players were nailed on.
He's not doing that. It was Thursday night. They're not playing until Tuesday. There's no way that he was doing that. He was trying to mix it up. He'd had a go at the players on Sunday. He wanted a bold call. We mentioned that in the press conference. He was looking for people to fight. I actually think by taking someone like Gallagher out of the team, you're making a massive mistake, because he is a fighter. He will do whatever you ask him to do. You played him on the right-hand side of midfield on Sunday, which was ludicrous. And when he was asked about it, he said it was because there was nobody else. Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate that. I hope it gets better for you. Kate is a Spurs fan. Hello, Kate.
Good morning, Kate.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Kate.
Good morning.
I mean, why did you ring out? You have to speak to him.
Well, I'm not really speaking to him. I'm talking to you, Sam, which is always a pleasure.
What about me, Kate?
And you, Gabby,
Thank
although
you, Kate.
you're quite nasty towards Spurs lately, I've got to be honest. But then it's difficult to say anything positive about them at the moment. Look, this all boils down to years and years of gross neglect by the board, poor scouting, terrible recruitment, spending money on sort of lower level players due to our wage structure. You know, we all know we could have had Grealish, we was linked with Diaz, Bruno Fernandes, all these players that came through the door where Levy wouldn't move the wage structure. We've scapegoated managers, you know, Igor Tudor. He's made questionable decisions, but at the end of the day, our squad is made up of players that were bought for different managers, for pragmatic managers like Ange, for defensive managers like Conte. It's a complete mismatch. And they come to Spurs, they've got the best training ground, they've got the best stadium, they're overpaid prima donnas, they come out and say what they want about the club. Romero, I'm talking about you. They don't have pride or passion for the badge anymore. You know, there's not one of those players who I look at and think he'd run for a brick wall for Spurs. None of them. They
all give the impression that they want to do that. Look at Pedro Porro when he came off yesterday, throwing his arms around like he'd been robbed. They all give the impression that they do that when they leave the field, but are they doing enough together on the field? I got the impression last night, I was commentating on the game last night, and it felt to me like there were points that there were players that were working really hard and running around, but not actually doing anything for the team. They weren't a cohesive team unit.
Kate, can I ask you a question? This is not sour grapes or saltiness. In some ways, it was the worst thing that happened to some of these players becoming European winners. Because all of a sudden they think they should be playing for Real Madrid and Barcelona, and actually conveniently forgetting the fact that last year you only just finished above the relegation places.
Look, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. You know, we've become European champions. We had a really relatively easy run to the final. We played the worst Man United team in Premier League history, I would say. And they believe their own hype. You know, the media start linking Van der Ven with Real Madrid, and you can see straight away his attitude's changed, his head's been turned. And it's so annoying because when we got to the Champions League final, we was on the brink of something spectacular, but they chose to build the stadium, not invest in the squad.
But that was quite a likeable group of players, wasn't it, if you're a Tottenham fan? I'd imagine this group of players is difficult to love.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't one single player that I would want on the back of my shirt.
Archie
None
Gray?
of them. I just... Who?
Archie Gray?
Look, Archie Gray's a nice kid, but I wouldn't want him on the back of my shirt. You know, the one good thing I can say is we know that he'll do well in the Championship, Archie Gray. And I don't mean that really nicely because I think...
Can you? You can't go down. Don't talk like that.
Do you miss Daniel Levy, Kate?
Sam, it's going to happen. We are going to go down. I'm fully prepared.
Rebuild.
I find myself... I cried a few tears last night to watch my team be the team that they are now.
Do you know what? It's interesting. People, I know that these two are being gleeful about it, and I'm sorry about that because I do know that last night there were a few supporters that were actually really upset, properly upset because they can see what's coming down the road. And you look at someone like Mickey van der Ven, who was arguably the best player. He's the best player. He's the best defender. He has a certain level of credit in the bank because that goal line clearance in the Europa League final, the wonderful run from the edge of his own penalty area and goal against Copenhagen, some of his breakneck speed recoveries. But last night, the best player, the captain, makes a god-awful error which cost you so dear. And if he's doing that, what hope have you got? 03717223344. We've got more text messages than we know what to do with. We've got more calls than we know what to do with.
FA Sam
as well.
Too nice.
03717223344. What are you talking about?
Too nice.
Gleeful.
Just come
Gleeful.
back. We'll come back in just a second.
You are so in house, mate.
Every game, every week, where the goalkeepers go over. They do that one where they go up for the ball, they jump, and then they fall forward, and they waste 4 or 5 seconds on the floor. Every single goalkeeper does.
I liked what you said before that, though, Gary. We're closing ranks, and we're just getting on with it. Daniel's a big Arsenal fan. Do you agree with Gary there, Daniel? You're closing ranks, and you're just getting on with it.
I fully agree with Daniel. I fully agree with Gary.
Yeah.
Reason being is, do you remember before Arteta joined Arsenal, how Arsenal was before? We were walk the ball into the net, weak old Arsenal. You can't win games like that. Now we're strong Arsenal, we're boisterous Arsenal, and I love the fact that we're playing housery. Love it. Finally, Arsenal are doing a bit of housery. What every other team has been doing for the last 40 years that I've been alive. Why is it that Arsenal seems to be the problem?
Right. Okay. Why do you think that this is the top topic of conversation this morning? Because everybody else outside Arsenal, it seems, isn't having it.
Well, it could be down to jealousy. It could be down to Gabby Agbonlahor spatting out rubbish, or Jamie O'Hara, jealous O'Hara, spatting his rubbish.
Okay.
It could be down to that.
You're not bothered, Daniel. As long as you drive towards winning this title, that's all that counts.
No way. Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal.
Okay, Daniel, thank you for that.
Could Spurs genuinely go down? Well, thousands of home fans left the ground early during their 3-1 loss to Palace. Igor Tudor insists the good ship Spurs is sailing towards survival, though.
I said now to the players, the boat is going one direction. Who want to stay there can stay. Who don't want to be can jump out. I think we'll be good. I believe.
But with Tudor's side just a point above the relegation zone, the sports bar boys are calling for another managerial change.
You need someone in at that football club who cares about it, who has an affiliation to it, who's going to get the fans on side, who are actually going to support
After Cheltenham, get Harry in.
Well,
after Cheltenham.
Well, I reckon Harry Redknapp should get a phone call tonight.
Elsewhere, Forest global head of football Edu has been asked to stay away from the club's training ground and stadium, with his future there in major doubt. Luke Littler says his win on night 5 of the Premier League darts is a statement to everyone out there. And with a heavy heart, Steve Harmison says it's time for Brendan McCullum to go.
He's changed the narrative of the way English cricket looks. He's been front foot cricket. It's been exciting. It's been enjoyable. But just for that Ashes alone, I think somebody needs to be accountable.
McCullum himself wants to stay on, though, after England were narrowly beaten by India in the T20 World Cup semi-final.
It is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. Listen to the joy in Crookie's voice talking about Spurs and their downfall.
For goodness sake.
He really hates them, says one texter.
He doesn't. He doesn't at all. Crookie doesn't hate any team. He's just being honest. It's 2 seasons in a row now doing a relegation battle. You're just being honest, aren't you, Crookie?
I'm just reading out the text messages.
I just find it bizarre that there are still Tottenham fans there who can't see their shortcomings and would rather just blame me.
Exactly.
Hi, Palace fan here, who was at the game last night. If Tottenham don't sack Tudor before the next league game, they will go down. The players have no link or respect for him, and that was plain to see last night. But every time he was trying to communicate with the players, they ignored him. His team selection and tactics last night were absurd. 3 at the back against a team used to playing that system was strange. And Porro at right centre-back. And those players on the bench was total lunacy. So obviously we've got the team last night. Mm-hmm. We were discussing the formations, and one of the stats guys, Joel, who's brilliant at what he does, and he's a big Tottenham fan. Yeah. And I sent him a message saying, I think they're going to play 3 at the back with Porro at right centre-back. And he said, I can't see them doing that. I said, that's how they're warming up right now. And I saw them do it, and I thought, but you remember we were at a game the other week where they warmed up and then they changed it when they started the match. Do you remember that? I can't remember what game that was, but that happened. I said, well, he usually does this. He likes
it.
Was it
Arsenal?
Ruse. It might have been the Arsenal game when they warmed up slightly different and whatever, and then played a different formation. And he said, no, I can't see them doing that. And then when it started and they obviously had lined up with that formation, everyone was like, really? And like Joe Hart, who I was with, saying, looks a little bit of a mess. There's people playing in positions they shouldn't be playing in. So therefore, should they be thinking about making a change after just 3 games? Or is that ludicrous?
But the goal did come from Archie Gray, didn't it, on that right-hand side?
He was brilliant. But Archie Gray was the best player on the pitch for Tottenham.
Yeah, but Porro is their best crosser of the ball, so you'd want him at right wing-back.
You want him higher up as possible.
Right, exactly. Getting crosses in for Solanke. Very odd. And then when it was down to 10... become chaotic, didn't it? It was Tell left wing back. It was, I didn't know what they were doing all over the place.
Let's get Robbie, who's a Spurs fan. Hello.
Morning, Robbie.
Hi, mate.
What do you want to say, boy?
Mate, how's it going?
Nice to have you on.
Very well, mate.
Good. Better than me then, for Tottenham.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm going to sound mental, but
I am looking forward to next season in the Championship, and I know you're going to think I'm mental saying that. I just want my club back. I want to go to a game and actually enjoy it. I want to get rid of Kudus, Van der Ven, not so much Kudus, but Van der Ven, Romero. Get rid of them. I mean, we've got players on loan in the Championship. I'm not saying we're going to walk the league. I'm not that.
Yeah, well, we can't do that, unfortunately. So we're going to have to apologise for the language. I know it's emotional, but yeah, you're in reflection. Cheers, Robbie. 037172233 4.
He was a bit salty there, wasn't he?
He was. Crookmeister and I were having a conversation earlier on, and I said, actually, was it Joe I said it to, the producer, the ref? I said to him, if Tottenham go down, actually, it might be the reset that they need, although I don't necessarily think it's ever a good thing for a team to go down because of the parachute payments, because of the stadium, because of the squad that they've got. Actually, they might just have a complete reset moment and come back a little bit stronger.
Like Leicester.
But no one wants to go into that tonight.
Financially as well, though. There's a massive financial aspect to this. You know, they've got
huge.
They've got the Champions League money this season. They've got players on big wages. I believe some of the squad have relegation clauses, but by no means all of them. So all of a sudden, you're going to be laden with players on top-end Premier League
wages. Or you're
wages
going to have to sell them cheaply
in the
to
Championship.
Get them off, though.
Yeah.
Look at the Leicester squad of players that they couldn't get rid of. Daka, AU, they've got so many, and Ndidi's still there. And look at Leicester.
It's a sad indictment on those who have been hiring the players. Fabio Paratici left at the end of January. He was the guy who was responsible for bringing players in for the last 6 months. He was on a ban previous to that, although I think he was acting as a consultant. Johan Langer is the sporting director. I was on the train last night with a few of the supporters, and the suggestion was that they target him and give him some responsibility of what's been happening in terms of recruitment. But actually, as far as I understand it, I don't even know what he does. Is he the director of football? Because they're going to bring in another sporting director to do the recruitment. He does the other side of it, apparently. But no one's quite sure exactly what his job role is. 037172233 4. Jason is a Spurs fan. Hello.
Morning, Jace.
About resetting and Spurs going down. If Spurs go down, it would be a complete disaster. Financially, it could completely ruin them. And Spurs getting back up again. There's no, look, as you pointed out, look what happened to Leicester.
It's top 8 next season, though, for playoffs.
Yeah, brilliant. We spoke on the 2nd of January this year, where I was basically saying that Thomas Frank was completely the wrong signing, wrong manager. You disagreed with me and said that there's no way you're going to finish as low as we did last season. Well, obviously, it could be even worse than last season. You've been talking this morning about us being in a relegation battle last year. Yes, we finished 16th, but we were certainly not in a relegation battle. And I think the manager knew that around Christmas that we weren't in a relegation battle, and that's why he then focused on trying to win the club a trophy, which is exactly what he did. So
that's a bit of a revised narrative that he sort of peddled out, that they gave up on the league over December and just focused on the Europa League. That there was a lot more at jeopardy between January and the end of the season than is being made out. So
also, you finished 17th, not 16th, 38 points.
17th, but there was never a point where we were under pressure like we are now, where it looked like it could be
because the bottom three were so bad. But my point is,
absolutely,
how can you expect to finish 17th one season and then automatically be challenging at the top end of the table the next? Not all clubs can do that. Manchester United have managed it this season, but not all clubs can do that.
I'll tell you why you can expect it, because in his first season we finished 5th. I think we were 1 or 2 points off and finished 4th. In his second season we finished 17th, never in a relegation battle, and we won a European Cup, which is the first time we've done that in 375 years.
And then recruited badly in the summer.
And then we recruited badly in the summer. But that wasn't the manager's fault that we recruited badly in the summer. The previous manager, whose responsibility that was. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's not his fault. But he should have been given the opportunity to say, OK, my first season I finished 5th. My second season I finished 17th, but I did win you the cup that you wanted, that you prioritised, that you wanted me to win, and I've won that. No, what we're going to do, we're going to go and get Thomas Frank. You've been telling me how wonderful Thomas Frank is. What a great manager. Why, I said to you on the 2nd of January, why is he a great manager? What record do you see that shows he's a great manager?
Well, he brought Brentford up from the Championship for the first time in their history and sustained them as a Premier League club.
Okay.
Also, do you know what? I watched The Damn United again the other night. I don't know if you've seen that film, but obviously Brian Clough goes into Leeds. Different circumstances, but Brian Clough inherits a group of players at Leeds who are so devoted to Don Revie that he had absolutely no chance right from the off. And I do wonder if there's similarities here that these Tottenham players are still wedded to Ange Postecoglou, that they weren't ever really willing to entertain Thomas Frank. So is that on the manager or the players?
The only thing I'll say about that is, and I mentioned this, I think, earlier in the season, that I wonder whether or not the Thomas Frank appointment was actually the wrong appointment for Tottenham because of the fact that it was such a handbrake turn from the style of football that Ange Postecoglou wanted to play. And if you're trying, I don't know, what's it like in a dressing room? If you come in, a new manager comes in and wants you to completely alter your philosophy.
If you've got time on the training field, then of course you can adapt as a player. But did Spurs have the players? Want to? Well, you have to. When a manager gives you tactics, you have to, don't you? You listen to your coach and manager. But when Thomas Frank has tried to do it, has he had the players?
Were they given too much freedom under Ange Postecoglou?
I think so, yeah. But at least Spurs fans will probably look at it and saying, yeah, you know what? We were conceding a lot of goals, but you know what? We played attacking football and we won a trophy.
Cheers, Jason. Thank you very much. Appreciate your call. Loads to get through as well. Ian is joining us next. Go on, what do you want to say?
I was just going to mention that you talk about time on the training ground and planning. They didn't fire Ange Postecoglou until June the 6th. Now, presumably that decision...
we all knew he was getting fired.
Well, exactly, but so did he. But why did it take until June the 6th to ratify that? Why didn't they have Thomas Frank ready to go straight away to give him more time to plan for the season ahead?
I hope Spurs go down, says Stuart Bremner. It'll be karma for sacking Ange after winning the Europa League, karma for hounding out Levy, karma for the way they treated Thomas Frank, and by the way, they will struggle to get back up from the Championship. Players will leave, and these players will not have any fight for that division. It's not a very positive scenario for Tottenham Hotspur, so how do you solve it? 03717 223344. Jimmy Pitts, who's a Spurs fan, just says, we are 100% going down. What do you think? This is talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com.
Manchester United. Has anyone seen Michael Carrick's new contract? New job offer. Contract. Job offer. Can you hear me? Contract. You almost don't win. Hell of a beating Fergie. Blessing Ruben Amorim. Where have you been, Ruben Amorim? Eric Ten Hag. Wreck-It Ralph. Can you hear me, Wreck-It Ralph? You almost don't win. Hell of a beating Ollie at the wheel. What's that, my mate? What's happening? It's all gone wrong. Help me out, quick. Help me out. Help me out. Has anyone seen Darren Fletcher? Has anyone seen Fred the Red? Fred the Red, your boy took one. Hell of a beating Mick Hucknall. The Big Rat Barbecue. The Big Rat Barbecue. Can you hear me, Big Rat? Your boy took one. Hell of a beating Alex Crook. Frank Isler. Can you hear me, Crookie? Andy Goldstein. Andy Goldstein. Andy Goldstein. You always want hell of a beat. Has anyone seen Aston Villa? Has anyone seen Gabby Agbonlahor? Your boy took one hell of a beating up the shells.
Terrible night for Spurs. We ain't even kicked a ball. Arsenal put themselves 7 points clear at the top of the table. They were shocking, though, but they managed to win. Man City threw it away. West Ham won. They're starting to look decent. Nottingham Forest get a point. Spurs, oh, wow, we're 1 point above the drop zone. What is going on? Chelsea, they made a statement. 4-1 win. What on earth has happened to Aston Villa? They fell off
a cliff.
They have gone. And Manchester United, woo! What's happened there? They've thrown that away as well.
It's talkSPORT, Sam Matterface Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. Gabby's bang on, no fight in Spurs. They're going down. As a Leicester fan, we saw this in 22-23. More quality than those around us, but none of the players put it all on the line. That Leicester team had better players than Spurs do now, says Big John. I'm not a Spurs fan, but look at their run of fixtures. I can see, and I can't see an easy win there. We just went through them, actually, didn't we? And I said to you, I said they probably need 2 wins in a draw, and you said, well, they're going to get 2 wins from. And I said, well, Molineux, and you went,
Sam,
they're not going to win at Molineux.
Their next 6,
they're
Liverpool away, Forest at home, Sunderland away, Brighton at home, Wolves and Villa away. You're saying they get 2 wins out of those games. I think they get 0 wins out of them games.
They might get 3 points at Villa, might they?
Yeah, to be fair, everyone else is.
And they've already played Burnley twice, which is a problem. Because Burnley are the worst team in the league now.
Yeah, but I told you when
bottom.
they went to Burnley that they should be going and winning that game, and they didn't.
Yep.
And that is why they're in the situation that they're in, because they don't put teams to bed. In fact, even when you look at them last night, they were in a great position. They were 1-0 up in the game. They were in command of the game.
That was against the run of play, though.
It was against the run of play, but you're still in command of the scoreboard. You're 1-0 up. You just managed the game. You and I were having this conversation. It started so badly for Tottenham. Within 48 seconds, Adam Wharton's got the freedom of the whole part to get a shot away.
Incredible.
And cause problems for them immediately. And that's the issue. The fact is that when you get yourself into a good position, they don't know how to manage the game.
And you see even things like the disallowed goal for Sarr. It's definitely not offside. Shambles of decision. But Pedro Porro is running back with Sarr with his arm raised up. Just defend. Make a challenge. Defend. It's offside. It will be offside.
Ian's a Spurs fan. Hello.
Oh, morning, guys. I was lucky enough to be on your show a few weeks ago after that delightful Brentford game where I turned over and watched the darts, like Jason Cundy did, apparently. I've got 2 questions for you to think about. A, would we be in the same position if Daniel Levy was still at the club?
No.
Secondly, I don't know about the intricacies of running a football club, particularly a Premiership club. Is there anybody at Tottenham who know how to run a football club?
Well, that's really a good question. I mean, Vinay Ventukesham was at Arsenal for a long time, but I'm not sure he was the overlord of the whole football club at the point that he was at Arsenal. He obviously was in conjunction with the Kroenke family as well. Edu was running the football side of it. He seems to have inherited a lot of responsibility since Daniel Levy lost. And Crook immediately said no when asked whether it would be the same if Daniel Levy was in charge. And in fact, even a couple of Spurs fans texted me last week to suggest that, things would be different if he was there because he wouldn't have put up with it.
Yeah, I'm not saying he was the best chairman in the world, but I remember saying at the time, be careful what you wish for. What he wouldn't have done was allow the Thomas Frank situation to drift as long as it did. I think if Daniel Levy was still calling the shots, Thomas Frank would have been gone by the end of September.
Would he have appointed Igor Tudor?
No, because they'd have had a plan for a longer-term successor lined up. How often does an interim manager come in and it actually pays off? You can quote Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and, to an extent, Michael Carrick at the moment at Manchester United, but these are club legends who have come in and put a smile back on fans and players' faces.
Where have they got this appointment from?
If you bring in an outsider as interim,
incredible, isn't it?
It's not going to work.
I'm still baffled by the appointment. When he got named, I'm thinking, just go and get Harry Redknapp.
No Premier League experience, no connection to the club.
You need an ex-player in there, so like Harry Redknapp or Glenn Hoddle, whoever it is, who's knows the club inside out.
Not
Eddie King
not a
in there,
CV with particular great sort of examples of superb work. He was fired after getting Juventus into the Champions League and then given a 2-year contract in the summer, and then after 5 months he was out the door again.
You sort of took issue when I said this smacks of when Southampton appointed Ivan Juric last season.
Oh, yeah.
I think Igor Tudor's making Ivan Juric look like Pep Guardiola at the moment.
If we do go down, we'll get rid of all the overpaid underachievers and use all the young talent that we have at the club. Lancashire, Donnelly, Moore.
Not as easy
Williams,
to get rid, though.
Vucevic, who's in Germany and got all the top clubs looking at him. He actually has, You blend those with established talent like Gray, Bergvall, Gallagher, Spence, and you've got an exciting young side who can start to compete. Reset and build on that. If Spurs keep doing the same thing, buying overpriced players with no vision for the future, we'll be in the same position for many seasons to come. That's Andy in London. I think the biggest issue is not the buying the overpriced players. It's buying players that aren't at the level because you won't pay the wages that are required to get top-level stars. Also, that sort of approach that we talked about it with Martin Semmons when he came in.
Yeah.
He was a chief executive of Southampton for a while, and he said, you've got to know your place in the food chain. You've got to be able to hire players and promise them that actually in the future we may sell you to Real Madrid, we may sell you to Liverpool, we may sell you on. Come to us, give us your best for a couple of years, and move on. It's the only way as a club you start moving up the food chain.
Imagine players like Eze.
No, he won't go.
But they're probably like now. Oh, thank God I didn't choose Spurs.
Well, he was never going to go to Tottenham because he knows if he goes to Tottenham and does well, he's never going to get to go anywhere else.
Exactly.
It's the reason Semenyo was never going to go there.
Yep, never. No, not for me. Not for me. Thank you.
Dan is a Spurs fan. Hello.
Good morning, guys.
What do you want to say about Tottenham Hotspur?
I just think it's self-destruct mode, really, isn't it? I've been going there for years. I was there last night.
What time did you leave, by the way? Because there were quite a few that got so fed up they just had to walk out.
No, I didn't leave. I stayed and watched to the end, but I just feel like this all started. Well, this has been going on for years, isn't it? They've been getting away with it. I think we've lost generational players like Harry Kane, Son, players who got you out of trouble. I mean, Romero getting sent off the other week. I wouldn't like to think it was on purpose. Van der Ven doing it last night. They're always talking about they want to go and play somewhere else. It's just rotten. Last night was the worst I've seen it, and I just don't know what the answer is anymore. I mean, I'd play the youth team next week. I mean, the appointment of managers we've had, no disrespect to Igor Tudor, but you never managed in the Premier League. If you're going to try and save the season, go and give Sean Dyche a ring and say, please help us.
Not the first person to suggest that this morning. 03717 2233 44. Very disappointed. Dan calling us on talkSPORT. We've got a few more of those still to get through as well. Spurs players need to stop acting like petulant children, says Chris Cole, and realise if they don't start playing, there will be championship players with a pay cut, as not many teams will take them with the attitudes they are showing.
Okay, we laugh and joke, don't we, sometimes about when it shows. You doing a game last night, was either TNT, and you see the clips of the fans and the disappointment. Some look like about to cry, some real anger. Football is people's life. It really affects fans.
By the way,
positive and negative.
They're not going there for a tenner. It costs a lot of money to go to Tottenham Hotspur.
Probably arguing. Could be arguing with partners over like, are you going to go in the game again? Are you going to go? We haven't got that money to pay for it. Oh, but Spurs are my team. It's £80 a ticket, yeah, but they're my team. And then you're getting all these defeats. Come on.
You asked me a question earlier on when we talked about the possibility of changing the manager. You think it would be ludicrous. It's 2026. These things have happened. Ange Postecoglou lasted 5 games in charge of Nottingham Forest in 39 days. Les Reed, 7 games in charge of Charlton, 40 days. Frank de Boer, 4 games in charge of Crystal Palace, but he was there for 77 days. It must have been over an international break that happened. 03717 2233 44. That's the number to call if you'd like to get in touch. Spurs off this weekend, but their next game is a trip to Madrid to play Atletico. Good luck, fellas.
Yep.
The fact that Arsenal, yet again, seem to have grinded out a result, this time at Brighton last night. But Simon, did you say in the passing there seems to be some kind of bias towards Arsenal or against Arsenal? As we went into that break, you were saying to me, there is undoubtedly a bias. Is there a bias?
Well, it feels like there's a narrative being created, which then creates its own version of bias. Because all of a sudden, we're hearing punditry and commentary, which is taking a side and it's not saying to win a Premier League for your first time in 22 years, where you don't have the knowledge, you're going to have some guile. Then you're going to have some gumption, and you're going to have to be strong and overcome adversity in difficult games. Can you go to Stoke on a wet Tuesday night and win the Premier League when it's ugly. So Arsenal are saying, yes, we can.
Yeah.
We can also top the Champions League.
Yeah.
We can also be in the in finals of the League Cup, and we can also be in the FA Cup. But subsequently, now what's happening is people are going, let's really unpick this and really unwind it and say what we think it should be and judge it by a different set of standards that we've judged other people by.
Right.
Now, I don't like to find myself in the camp where I'm veering towards Keown cul-de-sac.
I was going to say, you've crossed the divide.
But I'm not crossing the divide in the way that they are, because I think their observations about punditry is silly, because I think the pundits like Neville and other people go after Man United as much as they go after Arsenal. So they're either good pundits or bad, but you like the pundits or you don't. But I feel that when you start hearing the kind of comments that we're hearing, and now the managers are doing it, I don't think I've heard a manager talk about another manager's choice of play. Yes, when they're one of the lesser sides, when it's like Arsenal were doing it to Bolton because you saw Arsene Wenger bristling, and we all used to laugh going, you can't take it up here.
But you quite liked what Ursula said at the end of that game last night, didn't you?
Not really. I have a bias because he's a Brighton manager.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With the headlines at 2 minutes past 11, I'm Tom Clayton. Good morning. Relegation alarm bells are ringing for Spurs. That's according to club legend Clive Allen. 1 point clear of the bottom three with 9 games left. Their former defender Ramon Vega says this is serious.
This is not about nice football anymore now. This is surviving now. And these players really have to put the mentality into it. Guys, this is not about anymore if you're good or bad anymore. This is about you getting these 3 points across the line to make sure you're actually going to play Premier League.
It's now 3 defeats from 3 for Igor Tudor. They go to Atletico Madrid on Tuesday night in the Champions League. Of course, that's live on talkSPORT. Now, how does the atmosphere in the Premier League stack up to that of the Championship? Well, according to Sunderland's Luke O'Nien, disappointing. He says the Black Cats' travelling fans have been immense, though, but he did praise a fellow newly promoted side on talkSPORT.
When you go to a place like Leeds, the game, it's special, and our fans have been like that since League One. We had 35,000 fans in League One, and we're a sellout in the Premier League.
Speaking of Leeds, and Daniel Farke has been handed a one-match touchline ban. That's due to him entering the field after defeat to Man City. Their FA Cup fifth-round clash with Norwich on Sunday, also live on talkSPORT. In F1, Aston Martin's team principal Adrian Newey says the team are in a scary place and might not make the grid on Sunday. They've got battery problems ahead of the season opener in Melbourne. And Steve Harmison's reluctantly told us it might be time Brendan McCullum leaves the England setup. Baz wants to stay on despite a poor showing in the Ashes and a narrow defeat in the T20 World Cup semi-finals. Get more on the talkSPORT Following On podcast.
talkSPORT News.
4 men have been arrested on suspicion of spying for Iran on London's Jewish community, and there are fears our energy bills will go up due to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Scotland and Northern Ireland look largely dry with plenty of sunshine. Meanwhile, England and Wales will be rather cloudy with some rain, generally cooler for most of us.
It's talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're going to move on to Nottingham Forest very shortly with the news breaking overnight that Edu has been asked to stay away from the football club. Just wonder what this means for Nottingham Forest. And Nottingham Forest fans, you know, when you look back over the last sort of 12 months, you arguably had one of your best seasons in 30 years last year. Could have had an even better one this time around. But was it all slightly scarred by the fact that Evangelos Marinakis decided to bring in Edu? That upset Nuno Espirito Santo and the structure of the football club, and it all seems to have gone wrong since. And now you're fighting against relegation with the likes of Tottenham Hotspur. Call still coming in for Tottenham, by the way. We will move on very shortly. Just a couple of quick questions. This one from James, who says, ask Gabby, is this Spurs team as bad as the Villa team that were relegated in 2016, called imposters by Roy Keane the year before?
No, they're better than our team we had. We had a lot of players that were brought in from the French league, went on to be fantastic players. Idrissa Gueye, Veritu, Amarvi. We had Ayew. We had Rudy Gested. All coming at probably the same time. They needed time to adjust to the Premier League. I look at this Spurs team, and they've got a lot better players than we had, and players that will be coming back, hopefully, before the end of the season.
And relegation, who does it reflect on worse? The players, the manager, the owner? Do the reputational scars land differently for each of those as well? Because some of the players will escape, some of the players will go off.
Yes.
Some of those will be stuck, and their careers will stall as a result of staying in the team. For the manager, obviously, I don't know what his future holds, but for the owners themselves, they're in a serious predicament, aren't they?
Yeah,
they ultimately want to sell the club, but selling it in the Championship is going to be difficult to do.
And I think they brought a lot of it on themselves. Like I say, certainly not got any better since Daniel Levy left. I think there's a strong argument that it's got worse. But in terms of who it reflects worse on, definitely the players for me. If they go down, they'll be the first group of Tottenham players to relegate the team since the 1970s.
1977, yeah.
On the back of winning a European trophy last season, you've got a World Cup winner there in Christian Romero as the supposed leader of the team. I don't think it's about quality. It's about attitude and application. And,
spot on, Crookie.
And that is where these Tottenham players have been lacking. So therefore, I think if they do go down, it is their move.
You look at relegation, don't you?
Look twice in the mirror.
You look at relegation and teams that get relegated from the Premier League, and you look at how good was the team really, though? Were they up against it to stay in the Premier League? You look at Spurs. Yes, loads of injuries, but Mawani, Tal, Solanke, Odebear, Richarlison, Simmons, Gallagher, Sarr, Benson Core to come back as well. They've got very good players, haven't they, Crookie? They should be nowhere near it. But like you says, their application, their fight, their will to battle. Like, you don't want to be a Spurs fan going through this now. I'd rather be a Forest and West Ham fan when I'm seeing my team fight. West Ham, bodies on the line against Fulham. We're going to go to Fulham away. We have to win. We're going to dig out a result. Forest against Manchester City. Tough place to go. Manchester City, the talent that they've got. You know what? We're not going to roll over. We're not going to look at other games for points. We're going to go to the Etihad and get something.
And they showed it, actually, in the game that we were at a few weeks ago when they were 2-0 down at home to Manchester City, came back, got a 2-2 draw, could have won it in the end. So the quality is there. They showed it in that second half performance, and they have the same number of injuries they've got now.
Exactly.
But if you can do that against Manchester City, why can't you do it at home to Crystal Palace in a game you really have to win?
Yeah, they were down to 10 men. That has its...
Newcastle beat
They were being outplayed with 11.
I also think that structurally they don't look set. It doesn't look like the right structure. It doesn't look like the right team shape. It doesn't look to me like the players in the right positions, and I think that's affected them. I think a lot of the changes has done that as well.
Look at Newcastle, though.
There are serious echoes between sort of what happened in the 70s and what's happening now. And I was speaking to someone who'd been around for a very long time and remembers the 1977 campaign. You know, they actually won the League Cup in 1971 and 73. They had won the UEFA Cup in 1973 and finished runners-up in 74. So it actually had a period of success, and then 3 years later found themselves relegated into the what was the second division at the time, which would now be the Championship. And that is a serious sort of scar on Tottenham Hotspur's history, the fact that they did that with such talented players after Bill Nicholson and had done such a brilliant work with them and won 8 trophies during the course of his 16 years as a club manager. However, this time around, it's all happened at a much faster pace, hasn't it? They've got themselves into a Champions League final. They got to a League Cup final. They've won the Europa League. And then all of a sudden, they've hurtled down the division. And that roller coaster ride really sort of, I don't know,
pulls you in, upsets you as a Tottenham fan. It just smacks of missed opportunity.
Look at the clips we seen in the summer after winning Europa League. Fans were emotional. They were like so happy. Finally,
they should be as well.
Finally, it's better now. Yes, and
it did paper over the cracks, didn't it? That trophy,
of course,
as it would have done if Manchester United would have won it.
But I'm saying, Crookie, like they were so emotional. The parade, and you're seeing clips on talkSPORT of fans. This is fantastic. See my club win a European trophy next season. Bringing a better manager. Let's get back to where Spurs are meant to be, fighting for top 4. And then look at them now.
But I don't know if that is where Spurs are meant to be. And this was the whole argument when Kate came on and called me salty, because in the Premier League era, they're not a top side.
No?
They haven't paid the wages to be a top side. They've got the best stadium in the country.
But that's one of the reasons they've got the best stadium in the country and the best training ground in the country, because what they're trying to do is make themselves so profitable, bring in so much revenue, that in the next 10 years, they're going to be in a position where they can pay those wages, they can pay those fees, they can compete with the bigger teams.
But that's no good if you're in the Championship.
Well, it's not, but that's not the plan, is it? The plan isn't to be in the Championship. The plan is over time to establish themselves as a more regular presence in the Champions League, which they have done over the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, by the way. They hadn't done the previous 10 years. They've incrementally moved up the food chain over the course of the last 20 years. However, the issue now is they've dropped like an absolute stone.
They're not paying peanuts, though, here.
Come
on.
I think when it came to the Semenyo deal, they actually offered a very competitive.
Gallagher's on
wage
over 200 grand a week, apparently. I'm sure like Simmons isn't going to be on less than £150,000 a week. So they're not paying like bottom of the Premier League wages here.
But they were one of the lowest in terms of ratio to turnover in terms of wage bill, according to the Deloitte survey.
Well, going back to the football though, when you look at Newcastle against Manchester United, go down to 10 men, show fight, determination, fans are on side.
But they've got a good coach who knows how to organise a situation.
You never thought about that with Spurs last night? You thought, okay, 10 men, game over, might as well go home.
Newcastle are a team.
Exactly.
Since the Premier League began in 1992, more than 100 teams have been relegated to the second tier. If they go down Tottenham, this is undoubtedly, in my mind, the most humiliating relegation since the Premier League came into being.
Is it the biggest moment after Leicester winning it?
Probably.
Second biggest moment in the Premier League history?
Potentially.
Would you say, Sam?
Well, you said earlier on when we were outside that Arsenal winning the title would be eclipsed by Tottenham
100%.
being relegated.
100%. If Arsenal win the
story.
title,
It's a bigger story.
If Arsenal win the title and the same day Spurs get relegated, it's a bigger story. 100%.
Any chance we can stop this? Should have got Harry in, says Chris Skelton. He obviously doesn't want it. You lauded up Big Ange as a winner. He failed. You lauded up Thomas Frank. He failed.
Who
You
lauded up
hound
Big Ange?
these managers out like you did with Southgate and Amorim.
Harry has said that he wanted it, by the way.
You could have.
He's quoted saying he does.
Should I finish the text message, or do you want to?
Sorry, Sam. We've been rude today, Alex. Stop.
You just got a little bit too excited, I think.
we
you
have.
two.
Yeah,
You're
sorry,
enjoying
sorry,
yourself
sorry,
too much,
Captain
which
Sam.
that doesn't think reflects well on you. You're coming across as a little bit smug, both of you.
Sorry, FA Sam.
You could have Klopp and Pep and Jose all in together. They wouldn't improve this current team. Take a breath. Bring it back to basic. The players aren't very good. That's from Chris Dugarry in East Yorkshire. I'm sure it's not Christopher.
Is that you, Dukes?
who used to play for Birmingham City, amongst others. Andy, morning, lads. What Spurs need is to drop into the bottom 3. This will make them realise that relegation is a real possibility. I don't think they need to drop into the bottom 3 to work out that relegation is a real possibility. It's a real possibility right now.
Richarlison's still their top goal scorer with 8. Then Van der Ven and Romero with 4.
He came off the bench last night, Richarlison, and I don't remember him really having any impact on the game.
He's sulking. I'm a top goal scorer and I'm sat on the bench here.
But again, he's not the type of character you want when the chips
No,
are down,
you do not, mate.
Richarlison.
No.
Okay, last word on Tottenham Hotspur. Should they sack Tudor today and move on to somebody else? Do things improve if they do that?
I think it's harsh to sack a manager after 3 games, but this is a crisis and it's been the season of sackings. And if Harry Redknapp, who has said, quoted, that he will take the job, is available, maybe after Cheltenham, because he's got horses.
He's got a runner.
Yes, he's got a runner. So
Yeah, but
I will
the
change
Cheltenham
it.
Festival only goes till Friday, so he can still take charge at the weekend.
And why don't you get like ex-Spurs players that love the club in with Harry? It's not hard, is it, Sam, to the end of the season?
Will they?
He's due to take a press conference on Monday ahead of Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, so that suggests that no change is imminent. I personally think if they lose heavily there and they go to Liverpool and lose, they're going to have a big decision to make.
03717 223344. You can keep texting us and WhatsApping us. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to talk Nottingham Forest next because they too are part of this relegation picture along with West Ham and possibly Leeds United now, who had such a great winter period but just haven't picked up enough points. And there was, I think, news this morning about Daniel Farke, who has picked up a fine because of his confrontation with the referee Peter Banks in the aftermath of Wednesday night's game. This is talkSPORT. We'll talk Forest next with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
So it makes it more interesting, I think, Simon, for fans of other clubs. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
If it was all to finish today and this was in operation now,
you'd go way down to 17th with Norwich in the league and a chance to get into the 8th spot. That's what you do.
Right.
You take 60. You take
it opens up. Yeah.
You take 66% of the league as it sits now. 18 clubs in this league could have a reasonable shout to make a claim for getting 8th spot, because there's 11 games to go in the conventional season. There's 6 points between Derby in 8th and Norwich in 17th.
Right.
And those games, and when you get running at the business end of a season, it really does change the dynamics of how people play. All of a sudden, you've got 66% of the league having something involved. Then you've got the other 25%, or 35%, sorry, sort of going to the Gabby Agbonlahor arithmetic school, the other 34%, which would be fighting for not staying in the division. So you've got constant jeopardy in a league, which actually reminded me when I was over in America looking at the MLS and how they construct their leagues and how many teams get an opportunity to play in their playoffs and participate in outcomes for themselves. They have something like 60 or 70% of the teams in a league any given season that could feature in a playoff scenario.
Right.
So it's all
Does
about...
that affect the quality? There's a message coming through there. You're telling me that 8th could end up going to the Premier League. Surely, that ain't good in terms of the quality of the club that's going to go up.
There's nip and tuck. More often than not, when you finish 6th in the league, and we went up as a team that finished 6th, there was the points total. I think West Ham finished behind us and Wigan finished behind us in the league, and they were like a point difference. So tell me there's a point difference between 6th and 8th. Pack it in.
I was with Martin Keown the other day, formerly of this show. He used to do this show. Whenever he comes
Did
in,
he give you a bit of career advice?
He always tells us that this was his show. And he said to me, he goes, "Are you on Friday?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Who are you with?" I said, "Crook and Gabby." He said, "Gabby's doing a lot of shows, isn't he, right now? Too many," he said.
Yeah. I just want to get to the next level, like his advice to Andy Goldstein. That's what Martin.
I couldn't stop laughing. Has the hiring of Edu destabilised the best season in a generation at Nottingham Forest? And how much responsibility does Evangelos Marinakis have to take for it? We understand that he's been told to stay away from the City ground, pending a termination of his contract at the end of the season. I know that Forest fans will be reluctant to criticise Marinakis, but is this a mess of his own making? Because he had a manager who was very successful, almost took them to the Champions League. He started to interfere, and all of a sudden they ended up dropping down eventually into the Europa League, but then they lost to Nuno Espirito Santo very quickly. So is this got to be on Marinakis' shoulders?
Of course it is. And do you blame Nuno Santo when you've got a sporting director coming in and probably not giving you a say on any players that you're bringing in? What do you expect as a manager? And if you speak to the older generation of managers, they'll say, "What? Someone's telling me what players are coming in, and I'm going to."
That is the way of the world now, though.
I know, but then is that fair as a manager? Like we said in previous shows, sporting directors should be coming on and doing press. You're the one bringing in the players. The manager's doing the best they can with these players. They might have wanted 10 other players that you have said no to. Some of the players that they brought in Nottingham Forest, Douglas Luiz on loan didn't work. Zinchenko on loan didn't work. Amari Hutchinson, 37.5 million. Only one Premier League goal in 22 appearances. McAtee, 30 million. Hasn't worked. Ndoye hasn't worked. Bakwa hasn't worked. There's so many that Edu has brought in to Nottingham Forest, and they're not going to get that same money when they want to sell them.
It was interesting because we had Stuart Webber, the former sporting director at Norwich City, on with Jeff Stelling on The Breakfast Show not so long ago, and he was talking about how it should work between a sporting director and a manager, and how the best relationships produce the best results. So if you've got a good relationship between the manager and the sporting director, then you're in a good position to develop a squad, to build a squad, and to almost support each other in your task, your respective tasks. One is bringing in players, recruiting players for a system that the manager wants to play.
Younger players.
Maybe possibly, but sort of working with what the team needs at a certain moment in time. But Edu, I just wonder whether or not he himself is regretting making the move from Arsenal to Nottingham Forest and the head of global football role.
Well, I think the question you have to ask is, why did he leave Arsenal in the first place? Was it
to take up a head of global football role?
I'm not entirely convinced.
You think Arteta edged him out?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
I think Mikel Arteta wanted more control over transfers. And listen, no sporting director is going to get every single transfer right. If they were, they'd be a genius. But I think when you look at Edu at Arsenal, for every William Saliba and Gabriel, there's a Nuno Tavares, an Albert Sambi Lokonga, and a Nicolas Pepe. So, I think his body of work needs looking at in that respect.
Pepe signing?
He was, yeah. So I think you need to look at all of those signings at face value and work out which ones were good and which ones were bad. Yeah. I do think Marinakis is an impossible owner to work for, although Ross Wilson, who's now at Newcastle, seemed to get the balance just about right.
Well, that's the other thing. Why did they get rid of Ross Wilson for Edu?
Well, because they had their head turned. Presumably Edu came in and told them that it was down to him that Arsenal had gone from nobodies to somebodies.
Like you said, Sam, it's about a manager and a sporting director working together. Listen, the club want us to get younger players. Okay, I've got my eye on this player, this player, this player. Manager might say, yeah, okay, 2 of them I'll have. But you know what? I want this more experienced player.
And that's the other point.
That's where the disagreements come. And maybe that's what's happened with Nuno Santo and Edu, which caused that friction, ends with losing his job.
And that's the other point. Do you come in, if you're Edu, and rock the boat immediately, as I understand he did, and fall out with Nuno Espirito Santo because he said he wanted to change the playing style?
That's just poor management.
Exactly, because this is a manager who's just led Nottingham Forest their most successful season in 3 decades.
Or it could have been more successful, though, couldn't it? Because they brought him in over the Christmas period in the run-in. There obviously was tensions towards the end of the campaign. You had that big fallout on the pitch with Marinakis and Nuno Espirito Santo, which was about player welfare, apparently. But it went from being a Champions League campaign to a Conference League campaign. And the only reason they're in the Europa League, by the way, is because of the administrative error at Crystal Palace. So, remember that. it could have been much better. Was that all derailed by the fact that they brought in Edu? We love Marinakis, says Ben, the Forest fan, but look at what he's done for the club, our community, etc. But this mess has all come from him, unfortunately. However, if we survive and even better, beat Gabby's Villa to the Europa League title, then all will be forgotten, ready for next season. Come on.
They're not going to win the Europa League.
Reds.
They're not going to
You
win
could
the
tell that there were tensions between the hierarchy and Nuno Espirito Santo right at the beginning of the season when he gave this interview.
Okay, I'm a person that thinks a lot before say anything. And I say because I believe that things can improve. Of course, there will be a resolution. Everything is going to be okay for sure. It's the moment now to sit down and talk, but it's okay. I think the more important is how we play football, and I think we are improving, trying to adjust some things, and that's where my focus is.
Obviously, this comes as Nuno Espirito Santo is apparently embroiled in a bit of a legal dispute with Nottingham Forest relating to his controversial sacking at the start of the season. He signed a new contract, actually, on June the 20th, having spent the first several months in Champions League qualification places before finishing 7th. Nuno won the Premier League's Manager of the Month award 3 times, as well as leading Forest to their longest ever top-flight winning streak since 1967, and their first away wins at Liverpool, Manchester United in 55 and 30 years. He's since been succeeded by Ange Postecoglou, who lasted 5 Premier League games, Sean Dyche, and now Vitor Pereira. They're 17th in the Premier League table. Obviously, Nuno has gone on to go to West Ham United. Would the ultimate irony be if he kept West Ham up and Forest ended up going down?
Yeah, and I think if you're not a Nottingham Forest fan, you might be tempted to say that's karma for forcing out your most successful manager in 3 decades. And make no mistake about it, I think that's why Marinakis decided to get rid of Sean Dyche. His biggest nightmare, I think, was that Forest under Dyche went down and West Ham stayed up. I think it's going to be close. You know, it's I know Leeds have been dragged back into it, but for me, it's still 1 from 3 for that final relegation place between Tottenham, West Ham and Nottingham Forest. But I think when you look at the squads...
You're ruling out Leeds, are you?
I think Leeds will be okay. I think they've got enough spirit. I think they win enough games at home. I think there's an argument that Nottingham Forest, man for man, are probably better than the other two. So I think they'll be okay.
I'm looking at games as well.
They'll be okay. But the reason they're down there is because of the decisions that Marinakis and Edu have made.
We've got a proper race, though, haven't we, in terms of who's going to be
I'm looking
relegated.
at games now. I'm looking at the next game for Forest, right? They've got Fulham at home. I think they beat them. Spurs away. Massive game. Villa at home. I think they beat Villa at their place. Burnley at home. Next 4 games. Then the last game of the season for Forest, Bournemouth at home. West Ham, City at home. I think, like Crookie said earlier, they get something to draw. Villa away. Villa aren't playing well at Villa Park. Wolves at home. Last game of the season is Leeds at home. And also Everton. I've got to go to West Ham.
I think it'll go down to the balance. I think sometimes we get a little bit excited and start predicting things. I don't know who would do that very early.
The games fancy Forest and West Ham now.
But there's still 2 months of the season. There's still 9 games to play. There's still going to be a lot of twists and turns between now and the end of the season, especially with it being so tight.
Whatever happens, Edu's a goner.
Well, whatever happens,
banned from the training ground.
There's the disaster somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because whoever goes down, the board are coming in for it. So if Nottingham Forest go down, the Marinakis Edu axis is over. That's over anyway. But there's going to be a lot more scrutiny on Marinakis as a result of that if they go down. If West Ham go down, David Sullivan and the rest of the board are going to be under severe scrutiny for what they've done to that football club to turn them from Conference League winners into relegation candidates. And then the same as we've already been articulating all morning at Spurs. So whoever goes down out of these 3 teams, it's a major dereliction of duty because all 3 of them have had some of the best seasons of their careers over the course of the last few years, and now they find themselves in a serious relegation.
And on the flip side, I think Steve Parish and the hierarchy at Crystal Palace, Matt Hobbs, the sporting director, deserve a bit of credit because I think we would have all fired Oliver Glasner probably twice in recent weeks for his outburst. They've held their nerve, that they're through in Europe. They got a big win last night. They're not part of the relegation picture anymore. Strand Larsen comes into a record signing, got a goal last night. Gesson.
He was terrific.
Gesson looks a totally different player to when we had at Villa.
Strand Larsen was excellent. And that little ball round the corner from to Gesson and Gesson back to Sarr for the goal that should have stood that was apparently offside.
Held the ball up well, didn't he, as well, Strand Larson?
0371 722 333. It's Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor. It's FA Cup weekend as well, isn't it? We're going to talk about the fifth round. Some big ties. Mansfield against Arsenal is tomorrow. Crookie and I both going to Fulham versus Southampton on Sunday. West Ham have Brentford Monday night football. This is Talk Sport. It's Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook.
Not a great evening for Villa at all. Here's one for you, Gab.
Hi, mate.
You're 17th in the form table. They've seen a 10-point gap with Chelsea chipped away to 3 points. They could be 6th after the next round of games, having fallen 16 points off leaders Arsenal. They've lost 4 home games in 2026, including the FA Cup. Now, Gab, I know,
Hi, mate.
but I'll tell you this, mate, and I said at 6 o'clock, as disappointing as it is, mate, it can't be a great shock to you because you kind of semi-predicted it to me maybe about 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, first of all, what I want to say, Ali, is that these players, manager, fan base cannot feel sorry for themselves.
Yeah.
Aston Villa are in the top 4 as it stands. They're in a knockout stage tie against Lille, which is next Thursday away from home. So it's not all doom and gloom. Has it been a horrendous 2026? Of course it has. But you know what it's like in football, Ali? You can't feel sorry for yourself.
Correct, mate.
If you're the leaders at that football club, if you're the Concerts, the Mings, the Watkins, you're getting these players together and saying, come on, guys, let's not let our season fizzle out. It's not been good enough. Last night, I mean, where do I start? The first goal, Martin, he's not even looked behind his shoulder. That gusto is there. Enter Fernandez has got time on the ball.
It's worth mentioning, Gabby, you got off to a brilliant start, mate.
Yeah. Fantastic goal, and that was more likely from Leon Bailey, taking his fullback on the outside and using his weaker foot to cross it. Goal. But Aston Villa's tactics were similar to when Unai Emery first come in.
Could Spurs genuinely go down? Well, thousands of home fans left the ground early during their 3-1 loss to Palace. Igor Tudor insists the good ship Spurs is sailing towards survival, though.
I said now to the players, the boat is going one direction. Who want to stay there can stay. Who don't want to be can jump out. I think we'll be good. I believe.
But with Tudor's side just a point above the relegation zone, the sports bar boys are calling for another managerial change.
You need someone in at that football club who cares about it, who has an affiliation to it, who's going to get the fans on side, who are actually going to support
After Cheltenham, get Harry in.
Well,
after Cheltenham.
Well, I reckon Harry Redknapp should get a phone call tonight.
Elsewhere, Forest global head of football Edu has been asked to stay away from the club's training ground and stadium, with his future there in major doubt. Luke Littler says his win on night 5 of the Premier League darts is a statement to everyone out there. And with a heavy heart, Steve Harmison says it's time for Brendan McCullum to go.
He's changed the narrative of the way English cricket looks. He's been front foot cricket. It's been exciting. It's been enjoyable. But just for that Ashes alone, I think somebody needs to be accountable.
McCullum himself wants to stay on, though, after England were narrowly beaten by India in the T20 World Cup semi-final.
talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and we've got Gabby Agbonlahor with us as well, right the way through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. We're continuing to take your interactions as always, 0371722 3344. But now it's time for this.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Okay, it's time to speak to Matt Gibson from BetMGM to look at today's top sporting events and discuss the latest odds. Hi, Matt.
Morning, lads. How are we doing?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Getting a little bit nervous about Leeds United now, are you?
Their odds have been all over the shop during the week, Sam. They were 14s to go down on Monday, shortened all the way up to 9-2, and then Spurs did us a favour last night. They've drifted a little bit to 6-1, but no, still very much in it, mate. And that game against West Ham at the end of the season could be an absolute massive one for us. So we'll see how we go against Palace and beyond.
BetMGM Premier League darts last night. Finally, Luke Littler came to the party in Cardiff.
Yeah, I mean we've had 5 nights, 5 different winners, 1 9-darter, 2 big fishers. One of them with Luke beating Gerwin Price last night. And yeah, you can only keep the good man down for so long. But good to see him back in the mix, now into the top 4. Luke Humphrey's still struggling, playing okay, just not finishing as well as he would like. Jim Van Veen is also another player who's not won a night, but he's been in 3 finals. So it's a super competitive league this year. We've got the UK Open this weekend. Littler, quite a streaky player, isn't he? When he gets his iron, he is dangerous. The UK Open this weekend, he's 5-2 to win the job lot. Coming off the back of Cardiff, would not be against that at all.
Wolves against Liverpool tonight in the FA Cup 5th round as the last 16 gets underway. It's live on talkSPORT tonight. Obviously, Wolves have already beaten Liverpool this week. What's the chances of them doing it again?
Yeah, I mean, to win outright, the 5-1, the same scoreline, 2-1, is around about the 10-1 mark. Normally, we always ask, can the upset happen? Can they do it? Well, they proved on Tuesday night. I listened to the second half going back from Ellen Road. I didn't think it was or they weren't saying it was one for the ages. But Wolves did do the business. What do you think they do tonight, fellas? Wolves, can they survive? Is a cup run a nice thing for the fans to enjoy if their fate is sealed? And meanwhile, Liverpool, the Premier League has sailed. Europe, very difficult to win. Although
they can't stay up, Wolves, but just bring some joy to the fans that have suffered this season. Keep playing your strongest team every game. Tonight, can you upset Liverpool again? You know you can match them, beating them last week. So I think they shouldn't rest anybody.
What about Liverpool, Gabby? You know they're out of the Prem. Europe's difficult. What do Liverpool do?
Liverpool's still fighting for Champions League, obviously, still fighting for that top 5 position. I think they make changes tonight. I can imagine the exciting young winger Rio starts, maybe over Gakpo, but they haven't got the strongest of benches, Liverpool, to make severe changes.
They've got it. I mean, we've got a couple of Liverpool fans in the office, obviously very disappointed on Tuesday night. They've got to go for it, haven't they, yes, fellas? They are something like 9-2, 5-1 to win the FA Cup. Realistically, they're a short price for that than they are for Europe. They've got to go for it, haven't they?
They've got a big trip to Istanbul on Tuesday night as well, which means that might well be in the back of their mind. I still think they can win the Champions League, and I think that might be the one that they put all their eggs into. Each week we're placing a bet and predictions on some of the upcoming games on Golden Goals. If we correctly guess the exact scoreline, the BetMGM will donate £500 to our chosen charity, Prostate Cancer UK. Did anyone get Golden Goals last week?
I think so.
Matt, did anyone get
I think you know the answer to that, Sam, don't you?
Did they?
Well done, Sam. Well done.
Very good.
You're quiet, Alex.
Another £500 for charity, which is good, Matt. Which is good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And listen, we've got to rely on yourself and Gabby, because Crookie's really struggling. Although Gabby did try and help him last week, and he ignored his advice, which would have proved profitable for your chosen charity.
Yeah, well, I was going to say Gabby tried to influence me on this one because he said you should always predict both teams to score. Otherwise, you could be out of the bet before the game has really got going. But I haven't done that. I do think Arsenal have got a great record in London derbies, great record against Chelsea. Chelsea not beaten them in 4 years. I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Chelsea 0.
Not 3. It's that extra goal, last minute.
2-0.
2-0.
No, we'll stick with 2, Gabby, because they're the odds I've got in front of me. So Arsenal haven't lost.
And as we know, he
any
can't adapt very quickly. He's not very nimble. That was last week on the show when Gabby tried to get him to go 2-1.
Yes.
The tumbleweed did fly across the room there as we replayed that little clip, and I don't think Gabby sent him too many text messages about that on Sunday afternoon.
It's trying to help and raise money for a brilliant cause.
Yeah,
Sam, that's all.
You don't like being ignored, do you?
See, unlike the Tottenham players, it's not down to attitude with me. I'm trying really hard.
You are ignoring someone with superior knowledge.
Just not quite getting it at the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of crossbars.
I don't really think he's fighting for the cause, Matt. That's the problem.
We go again, though, Crookie. We go again, mate, don't we?
Yeah, but I've got a rubbish game this weekend. We'll come on to that in a minute. But yeah, it's a tough one to get exactly right this game. It could be anything.
Well, for you, they're all tough to get exactly right, fella. Matt, what we got?
All right, we'll save the best till last. Save Crookie till last. Sam, we'll start with you. I don't know if you might be going to the game and calling it, mate. Leeds versus Norwich.
No, he's doing a big game.
All right, calm down.
I don't know why you put up with it, Matt. I'm doing Leeds. I'm not doing Leeds actually, but Leeds haven't got through to a quarter final of the FA Cup since Terry Venables took them there in 2002-03. I expect them to get the better of Championship side Norwich. Look, I think that this season could be a season a bit like last year where someone from outside the main contenders picks up the trophy. I can see that happening. I'm pretty strong on Fulham, who play Southampton this weekend, but I think Leeds will win 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, Norwich have only won twice at Ellen Road. One of those actually was under Daniel Farker in the 18-19 season. But they've gone all right, Norwich, under Philip Clement. Had a tricky start to the season, but they have picked up. Listen, Leeds are favourites. Need to see a little bit better than we did at Birmingham in this competition, and indeed on Tuesday night against Sunderland. 13-2 for 2-1. Sam, I don't think it's a million miles off, and obviously coming off the back of last week, mate, you'll be full of confidence. Gabby, we're going to give you Wrexham Chelsea, a really interesting tie, I think, in this one.
Yes, big tie for Wrexham. We know Wrexham's owners, Hollywood owners, will be dying to get through to the next round. They're flying in the Championship. They're in 6th place. Chelsea, big win against Aston Villa, which they should have won with the amount of money they've spent. I think it was nearly 10 times more than Aston Villa last summer they spent. So I'm going to go for
tears away.
Sorry, I was saying some facts. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Chelsea win.
Yeah, I mean 2-1 Chelsea as well is 13-2. Wrexham decent at home, only lost 2 of the last 13, but similar argument to Liverpool, Gabby. Chelsea's best chance of a
but they'll make loads of
changes
changes because they've got a big Champions League game, haven't they? PSG midweek.
Do you think they will? Make a load of changes?
Yes,
I think they'll go for the jugular.
No, I think they will. Do you, Sam?
Still,
they'll make changes.
Yeah.
Still backing them, Sam.
Round.
Still think they'll go to Wrexham and win, Sam.
Yeah, I think they'll go to Wrexham and win. I imagine that their priorities lay elsewhere, but it's a great opportunity to win a trophy. And Chelsea have had a good relationship with the FA Cup up until the last few years, where they've lost 3 finals in a row. But apart from that, the Cup has been quite kind to them. So, I think they'll go strong enough to get through the tie. Be interesting to see if Wrexham rotate a few, because they've got priorities elsewhere as well in terms of promotion, trying to get up into the Premier League.
Yeah.
What have you got, Crookie? Then come on, then give it to him.
Come on,
and
Alex,
see if we can finally pull one out the bag.
He says a tricky game. He should know who's going to win.
Yeah.
Mansfield Arsenal, Crookie. What
How
are you
is
thinking,
that the trickiest game of the weekend?
It's the easiest one to.
Well, they've been practicing with a scoreboard, I'm told today, and I've been sent a screenshot that says Mansfield 6, Arsenal 0. Surprisingly, I'm not going to go for that. I've gone 4-0 to Arsenal, but they're going to win by as many as they want.
A goal for Mansfield?
I nearly went to goal for Mansfield, but I've gone for the 0 again.
Should always go both teams to score, shouldn't you, Gav? Especially now.
100%. A corner, a set piece.
When was the last time that they kept a clean sheet, Arsenal?
I don't know.
Wednesday night.
Oh, there you are.
I was there.
4-0.
Okay, that's our golden goals then. We've got more to look forward to as well, because Cheltenham's just around the corner. We know that because Crookie hasn't stopped talking about it, Matt.
Yeah, we thought we talked to each other on Friday. We'll obviously be there on Wednesday. We previewed a couple of races and Crookie's fancies a few weeks ago, but obviously the biggest races of the week are quite obviously the BetMGM Queen Mother Champion Chase and the BetMGM Cup, which are both on the Wednesday, and of course the big one, the Gold Cup on the Friday. So, Crookie, what are we thinking for the Champion Chase, the BetMGM Cup, big handicap, tough to call that, and of course the massive one on Friday, the Gold Cup? Where are we going with this, mate?
Yeah, well, I think it's a shame that Marine National's not running anymore in the Queen Mother Champions Chase, so that leaves Marlborough as a very short favourites, but odds-on shots have a wretched record being turned over in this, don't they? So I've tried to find a bit of value. I think Captain Guinness, a price with the Cheltenham record at 40-1, is well worth your place money. But I picked out Quilixios, 40-1 last year, and was right up in contention when falling at the last. I think about 7-1 this time around, but I think that's where my couple of quid each way is going to go.
Yeah, around about 13-2, 7-1. Madgeborough 4-5. Crookie. We're not in the business of coming on and tipping up odds on favourites for the punters 10 quid. So I don't mind that shout. I'm with Ilete Toms personally. I'll forgive him what happened at Ascot last time out. He's like to have Paul Townend on board. I think he could do the business. And then the BetMGM Cup, Crookie, big old handicap.
Yeah.
There's about 50 entries at the moment. Final decks aren't quite in, but where are you leaning with that one?
Well, the one I've had on my shortlist for a while is Stormheart, but again, it's now been backed into favourite, and I think one favourite has won this in the last 20 renewals, so I've looked a bit down the field. Jinko Blue for Nicky Henderson, who's got a great record in this race. You're getting a double-figure price. I think that's good value.
We've got him about 14s. He ran about 5 lengths behind Cabral de Matan on New Year's Day, didn't he? Which Cabral's been tipped up for the stayers or something like that. So the form ain't bad, and he's had a couple of runs around Cheltenham. Personally, I'm with Katera. I think Dan Skelton has plotted this horse for this race.
Dan style.
Yeah, very much so. I think he's carrying about 10 stone 13, so he's not that well handicapped. So I don't mind Katera. A bit shorter at 8, so you've given the punters more value there. The Gold Cup, mate. Where are we going on this one? Head or heart?
I think this is really tough this year. After the King George, I was all over the jukebox man. A little bit short now for me. Does it stay the extra distance? Galopin de Champs won it twice, second last year, decent price, and I've listened to a lot of the Cheltenham previews. Apparently, it's working really well at home. So I think I'm going to come down on the old favourite.
Yeah, I mean, he's won a couple. I think he was around about even money last year, as big as 15-2, 8-1, around about
big
that.
Price.
Which again a massive price for a horse that's been there and done that. Couple of thirds at Leopardstown over Christmas and January. If he is the horse he was, Crookie, I think you're right. 15-2 is way overpriced. And with Haiti Couleur here, goes well fresh, again willing to forgive the poor run at Haydock. The way he won the Welsh National I thought was superb, and he's likely to have Sean Bone on board, who I think he is the absolute best in the business. But what a week's racing we've got, Crookie. I know we say it every year, but there's so many storylines, and this Cheltenham Festival is going to be one to remember.
We're looking forward to it. This show comes there from Wednesday onwards, and of course the breakfast show there all next week, and talkSPORT has all the big coverage as well. That's next week. That was a look at the head to the weekend's action with BetMGM and the latest odds. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app and you can find out today. It's 18+, begambleaware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Fabrizio Romano is the man in question here. But the question that goes from many people at this particular time regarding Fabrizio is there a fine line between being a top journalist and being an influencer? Or can you be both? What's Romano done? He's been criticised after he posted a video on Twitter to his 27 million followers, which essentially, in the eyes of many, was an advert for Saudi Arabia and their humanitarian aid. Now, the video itself is about a couple of minutes long, but we've cut it down. This is Fabrizio.
King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center. Over 10 years since its inception, the center has implemented 4,212 projects in 113 countries worldwide, reflecting the leading humanitarian role of Saudi Arabia. 155 cases evaluated, patients from 28 countries across 5 continents. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia ranked second globally and first in the Arab world in humanitarian aid for 2025 and topped the list of the largest donors according to the United Nations Financial Tracking Service, FTS.
So for 2 minutes, Fabrizio tells us and lauds and applauds the work that is done by the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Centre. But some other journalists have laid into Fabrizio for the post, some suggesting now that he helps unsettle the transfer market by putting up paid posts from agents and others.
It's talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor, and we're live on talkSPORT. We've been chasing some stories this morning. Ref, what are we doing now? What do you want us to talk about? Right, okay. He's going to get cross to me today.
It's already told you, Sam.
I can feel it. Yeah, I know, but I was in the process of chasing up a story that he asked me to chase up. So because we were doing that, we got a little bit distracted. Me and Crook.
You ignored him.
Huh?
You ignored him. You got to adapt,
Crook,
mate.
we're doing something else.
You got to adapt,
we're all
mate.
part of the breaking news.
If you want to get to that next level, you got to adapt,
exactly.
Sam.
Okay, Martin.
That's why he's not laughing at Tottenham, see?
Exactly.
He wants to get to the next level.
For all the talk of a busy schedule, Manchester United have just got 2 games in 39 days. What would you do if you were Michael Carrick? Because they look a little bit like they need games. Do you know what I mean? Like to find a rhythm. Would you take them away and try and get them into a training camp? Would you?
Friendlies.
How would you?
I was going to say I'd try and arrange a couple of friendlies. Yes. I think because there's a fine line, isn't there? It's both a strength and a weakness of United when it comes to this race for a Champions League place that they're not playing many midweek games. because it means they've got longer to prepare. Obviously, he's using a fairly small pool of players because the quality in the squad is lacking. But also, there is a danger you can be undercooked. I thought they did look a little bit undercooked against Newcastle when they struggled to break down 10 men, not for the first time this season. So, yeah, I would arrange a couple of friendlies just to keep the players sharp, I think.
Because you've been saying that it's been quite good being a Manchester United fan because when you're winning games, you don't have
Not
to
so good when you
worry
lose.
about the next match because it's so far away. But when you lose, that feeling lingers as well. For a player, how do you get the balance right between having enough rest between matches and having too much rest between matches? If you're out for a couple of weeks, you can lose a little bit of sharpness.
100%. But is this Manchester United 2 games, did you say, in 39 days? But international breaks coming up as well, isn't it? So a lot of the players are going to be away.
Some of them will.
So you're going to have probably 2 weeks without the players. So do they have one this weekend? Maybe Sunday, do they have a game where you're playing maybe the under-23s and you're mixing the teams?
Do you
Sometimes
get
do in-house.
intensity out of a game like that?
You do, yeah. Yeah, you do. We used to do it all the time. When there was a gap between games, you'd play in-house games. And sometimes you play teams that come to the training ground, even teams from different countries that would come over and you'd have a friendly.
They're in the same boat or something like
exactly,
that.
Exactly, need game time. Because you're not going to take them away before the next game next weekend. So I reckon one in-house at the training ground. And they've got all the data now. They've got the heart rate monitors. They've got the GPS. They can see what players are covering. So you have to give the intensity.
Well, the next game is against Aston Villa at Old Trafford on March the 15th. And then they've got a 24-day wait between the Bournemouth game on March the 20th and Leeds, which has moved to the...
Maybe 2 games they need before the Aston Villa game.
Well, half of that, as you've already said. I think 10 of those 24 days are the
international break. Yeah.
So
it's a big game, that Villa game, isn't it, for both teams?
Yes.
Because, again, like the final relegation place, it is a battle now between Villa, Chelsea, United.
Still 2 months to
Liverpool.
Still a lot to play for, isn't there? But Aston Villa can take some hope from the performance against Newcastle, but Manchester United are looking very good at home, even though Crystal Palace wasn't at their best, was they, Crookie?
Well, they haven't
got a bit lucky in that game.
For the last couple of matches, but they've been finding ways to win matches.
Fine margins, and I guess when you're playing on fine margins, eventually it will catch up on you, especially if you pick Tyrone Malacia.
Oh, he's throwing under the bus.
Malacia has that fault for the goal?
Turned his back on him. The one thing you do as a fullback, you don't show the wide player on their better foot, do you?
He's right-footed, isn't he?
In the Brighton game.
He's not left-footed.
But you don't enable him to come in and get a shot.
It's a great goal, Alex. You're out of order. It's quality.
Malacia's looking at the Newcastle fans. He's literally got his back to the play. What's the one rule as a defender?
Yes,
never turn your back on the play.
Do you know what? I watched that clip, and that screenshot is a little bit misleading. But
you telling me Malacia's a good footballer?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that clip was misleading. The screenshot that you sent around straight away after the game was a little bit misleading.
I tell you what it does highlight, and you look at the subs that he made, and there has been a bit of criticism for Michael Carrick that he made the changes too late, which is something Middlesbrough fans used to level at him. I'm not saying that is the case, but maybe he could have made changes earlier. No, but you look at the lack of quality. Malacia, Ugarte.
That's not on him.
Whenever Ugarte comes on for Casemiro,
it's a problem.
The game turns the other way. And what I was going to say is, if United do get back in the Champions League next season, they're going to get back in Europe in some form, you'd imagine.
They're going to need 2 new midfielders.
They might need 10 players. Because you look at the players that are going to go at the end of the season, Casemiro being the most high profile, they'll get rid of Ugarte, probably Joshua Zirkzee, Malacia will go. So that's 4 players they are using at the moment who are not going to be there anymore.
And they need to bolster the squad.
The squad is so light for a European.
Well, you spend 200 million when you finish near the bottom of the table, so finishing your Champions League positions, maybe you can spend 400.
But they need numbers. They do need numbers.
This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface.
They'll spend 20.
Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor through till 1 o'clock. Peter Lovenkrands is coming on the show after midday.
Legend.
He's going to talk about Rangers and Celtic, who renew hostilities once again this weekend.
boys. David, good morning, mate. First
Good
of all,
morning,
how are
David.
you?
Morning, all.
David, here's a quick one for you, mate. I know we'll not be talking European football. We'll calm everything down. I want to start with this statistic, right, which I would imagine would please you as much as anything. Everton, after reaching the 40-point mark in 28 games, that's only the second time they've done that in 9 seasons. Now, I reckon that in itself is an achievement. But, and I know you'll play it down, you must have a wee thought about European football.
Well, I said right at the start, Coisty, that I said to the players that, we need to try and aim for it and hope that it was possible. In truth, it looked a million miles away, to be honest, at the start. But I have to say, we got off to a pretty good start in the league, and it's given us something to hold on to. We've been up and down, and we're probably just on the outside of European football, if we're honest. But we're not that far away that we couldn't try and make a go of it.
David, obviously the Grealish injury was disappointing, but how happy are you now with the competition for places? Beto and Barry are in great form. You've got McNeil and Dibbling fighting for a spot. NDI and Tyreek George. You've got Branthwaite back as well. The squad's looking more healthy now, isn't it?
It certainly is. I mean, I have to say, Jack was brilliant for us in the early part of the season. He gave us lots of things which we haven't.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With the headlines at 2 minutes past 12, I'm Tom Clayton. Good afternoon. The situation at Spurs is now serious. That's according to the former defender Ramon Vega, who's told us it's no longer about pretty football. He's also had a pop at the board and says if they sell up, it has to be done right.
This has to be taken over by professional people from the football industry as well, and make sure that this club actually deserves what the club's name is and the reputation. At this point now, that reputation and brand of the club is a disaster.
They go to Atletico on Tuesday night, live on talkSPORT. Now, Premier League atmospheres have been disappointing. That's according to Sunderland's Luke O'Nine. He's heaps praise on Sunderland's fans, though.
It's specials that the fans have always believed in us. They've kept supporting us, and we've still got a lot to do. But I think we're returning that. Them just staying with us now with some good performances this season.
Elsewhere, Leeds boss Daniel Farke's been handed a one-match touchline ban for confronting the ref after defeat to Man City. Leeds host Norwich in the FA Cup on Sunday, also live on talkSPORT. Real Madrid have been sanctioned by UEFA after a supporter was filmed appearing to perform a Nazi salute. It took place before last week's Champions League game with Benfica at the Bernabeu. They've been fined just over £13,000 and given a stadium sanction suspended for a year. And Steve Harmison has told us it might be time Brendan McCullum leaves the England setup. Baz wants to stay on despite a poor showing in the Ashes and a narrow defeat in the T20 World Cup semi-finals. Get more on the talkSPORT Following On podcast.
talkSPORT News.
4 men have been arrested on suspicion of spying for Iran, and more planes heading to the Middle East to help British nationals evacuate the region. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Whatever the winter weather, Bridgestone Turanza All Season 6 tyres. Guaranteed for 25,000 miles. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Scotland and Northern Ireland look largely dry with plenty of sunshine. Meanwhile, England and Wales will be rather cloudy with some rain, generally cooler for most of us.
It's talkSPORT, it's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. And on Sunday's show last week, Game Day Live, we brought you all of the drama of the latest edition of the Old Firm game. It finished 2-2, late penalty for Celtic, which was saved twice by Jack Butland before Rio Hatate put in the second rebound. And Celtic escaped with a point. Now, the Glasgow rivals meet again at Ibrox for a second week in a row, this time in the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup. And the former Rangers winger, Peter Lovenkrantz, joins us now. Hi, Peter. Thank you very much for coming on.
Morning, Peter.
Good morning.
What a season it has been in Scotland. Hearts look as if they are the big favourites to win the league. But the difference in Scotland, I think this is really key, is, and we'll talk about the Scottish Cup in just a second, but the split means that everybody has to play some really tough games between now and the end of the season. And that could have a massive impact on where the title ends up landing.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be huge because now there's 4 teams that potentially can fight it out. If Motherwell win their game in hand at the weekend, they can basically go 1 point behind Rangers and be part of the whole chasing pack of Hearts. So it's so exciting, and I think Scottish football have really been striving with this, and it's been needing something like this. It's been great to see, and it's been so entertaining. So.
Yeah, it certainly has been. And then we've got another instalment this weekend in the Scottish Cup as Celtic and Rangers go head-to-head once more. And after last week's game between the two, how do you see this one panning out?
This is the thing with the Old Firm. You can't predict it. You can't say or anything about form or anything. It's just on the day. See if you watch the last game, Rangers were the best team in the first half. Celtic was the best team in the second half.
They really came out firing second half, didn't they, after the half-time break?
Yeah, Martin O'Neill made some key changes and it changed the game completely on his head, and they get the goal to get himself back in it. And they deserved the draw in the end. They were the better team in the second half and it was a fair result. But so these things, you can't predict what's going to happen this weekend. It's whoever's going to come out and start the game best and get maybe the first goal. But you know, like Gabby, you know as well, these these kind of derbies where it could be a tackle, it could be a yellow card, it could be a red card, it could be anything could change the game and momentum of the game. It just makes it so exciting.
In terms of the atmosphere was great last week, and there were Celtic fans inside Ibrox. But this week, there's going to be even more fans inside the stadium from the other end of Glasgow. Last month, Rangers agreed to give Celtic fans the Broomloan Road stand for the upcoming Scottish Cup quarter-final tie. It means 7,500 away fans will have access to an Old Firm derby for the first time since 2018. The atmosphere is going to be off the charts, isn't it? That's going to make a major difference to the dynamic, because over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, we've had shutouts, we've had situations where there have been no away fans, then a small sort of dribbling of away fans, but this is a massive contingent.
Yeah, the Old Firm has been missing this. I missed it so much from after when I was playing there, like my day. That's what they had at every game at the Old Firm. They had the whole back stand, and the atmosphere was absolutely incredible because they are so loud coming away from home, and then means the home fans has to be a lot louder to overdo them. And it was the same going to Parkhead. Rangers fans were so loud there, and it just creates a better atmosphere. Yes. And it's been missing that for so long, and I feel this is the time now. And also, I feel for players, players who's come after me and played, they would never had that experience of how big that actually is and how amazing that sound is, that place when there's that many away fans. And the same with young fans growing up, they won't have experienced this. So this is going to be so exciting for so many people, coming into this game. The atmosphere is going to be electric, and it's so good for the game.
Peter, I went to my first Old Firm game about 2-3 years ago. I think it was 3-0 to Celtic at Celtic Park, and it felt weird being no away fans in the stadium. And like you've spoken about, we both played in big derby games, and you need the away fans in there. I remember scoring multiple winners at St Andrews, and you target the away fans, don't you? You target your own fans, and it gets you through the game. And without fans, it's just very, very odd for players.
Yeah, it is completely. I totally agree. It's one of the things that's been missing so much since they changed the rule and they've done away with so many away fans for the Old Firm, because it ruined the derby a little bit for me. I didn't enjoy it as much. The atmosphere, they always came, and I don't know if you ever seen it, the kind of famous beach ball incidents with when they were going to Seville, Celtic, and they brought beach ball and they flew in. It's one of the biggest moments I will remember back from when I was playing. And then Rangers fans did it the year later at Parkhead when they threw the beach balls in. And it was just, it created the atmosphere was just amazing, and for players on the pitch, this is what you remember. You look back and you remember those days. Yes. I think the newer times you wouldn't really remember as much because the atmosphere is still good, but it's not the same when you don't have that many away fans.
That feeling as well, isn't it, when you score? Especially, I can imagine an Old Firm and a local derby, and you're celebrating your away fans. It's the whole feeling of a derby.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've lucky enough to score a few goals at Parkhead, and I've never scored at home against them, but I always scored away. So it was I never got to enjoy it as much as home, but yeah, away it was. You ran in the corner, and to be fair, funny enough, I scored actually all my goals down in the corner where Rangers were, so I could run straight to them, and but it does, you know, it creates this atmosphere that just gets electric, and even before the game, see the build up to the game, it's amazing, you know. I mean, it's amazing to be part of. So I'm really looking forward to actually hearing it and seeing it on Sunday.
Is there any psychological advantage to be taken off the back of this game? Will the winner have a bit of an edge going into the last few games of the season in terms of the title race?
I think it's a great question, because I actually got asked that yesterday, and I've done a media bit, and I hadn't even thought about it until then, and it's so true, because they've still got 4 more games before the split, and I think Celtic's next game is against Motherwell at home, and Motherwell plays the best football in Scottish football right now at this moment in time.
Been terrific, haven't they?
They've been brilliant, and they play so good football, and also going to Silly Park with a better pitch than what they have at home, they're going to cause them problems. So I think the running, and I think Hearts still has to play Motherwell before the split at home and stuff like that. So things can twist and turn before the split even happens. And then when the split happens, anything can happen, because all the 4 teams can beat each other. And Hib's going to come in as well and take some points, and maybe even Falkirk away on an AstroTurf pitch. You know, it's difficult to go there. So I think this is going to go right to the end, and it's just goes so exciting. But yeah, if whoever wins this game on Sunday will have that little bit of momentum, to be fair, going to the next game, if you think with a bit of confidence. So that could help them.
How well has Danny Roll done, just to get Rangers part of the title conversation again, when you look at where the club were when he took over? And actually, if you do miss out this season, would you make Rangers favourites for next season, bearing in mind that we don't yet know who's going to be in charge at Celtic come the end of the campaign?
Yeah, but I think he's done a great job coming in after Russell Martin. Is where they were compared to where they are now. It's been a massive step up, and but you could say the same with Celtic. Celtic done the same with Will Fernandes now going to back to Man O'Neill, and he's brought them back into contending as well from where they were lying and stuff. So it's been a turbulent time for both sides, but for Rangers side, you know, he's done a good job. He's now in contending. They're right in it. It's down to them to just go and chase down Hearts and get back into it, because, like I say, the other teams in the league's going to take points off each other. Motherwell's going to take points off people. Hearts and Celtic's going to take points off. They're going to meet each other. That's when Rangers need to capitalise, and vice versa with the other teams. They need to capitalise on when the other teams meet each other. So it's going to be so exciting. And next season, of course, depending on what's going to happen, if Hearts are going to win it, then it's there to lose right now. And if they are going to go and win it, then they would also think, why can we not go and do it again next year? And Celtics want to come back on top. Rangers want to come back on top. It's going to be so exciting. And I just hope for a fantastic end of the season, and the same for next season.
You know that whenever we get to speak to you, Peter, we always get the same questions coming through. And I know that the sad news that your dog died 5 or 6 years ago now. But we always get the question about the internet meme that sprang up about your son, the Labrador.
Yeah, I know. It's mad, and it gets bigger every year since then. It's just, especially coming around to Christmas, Halloween, I just get bombarded with all these videos and clips, and people even get tattoos now. Have sent me tattoos of him on his legs and arms, and I'm like, oh my god, this is
just explain the story, because basically there was a bit of a misunderstanding. You sent a picture out, didn't you, of your of your happy birthday to you. Your dog was 12 years age, and somebody thought it was your son, and it just went from there.
Yeah, it was basically because right in the start with Twitter and Instagram was kind of out. It was kind of like when you tag somebody in the tags from Instagram into Twitter, it didn't show the picture unless you clicked on the image. And I had sent it in and put it in Twitter, and he had not clicked on it and just replied, hope he scores as many goals against Celtic as his dad, kind of thing. And then people just jumped on it. You wouldn't expect back then. I'm thinking, this is quite funny. They'll die down. It's just kept going. And, you know, that dart tournaments and all sorts, people are dressing up as him. And even in the dart commercial, I've seen he was dressed up as somebody was dressed up as him. It's like, Where's it going to end? I
just love it because there's just loads of pictures all over the internet of a dog's face in different Rangers jerseys. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's hilarious, and he lives on, so that's positive.
He certainly does. Thank you very much, and so does your record against Celtic as well. Good luck over the weekend. Enjoy the Old Firm game. That's Peter Lovenkrantz joining us live on talkSPORT ahead of yet another Old Firm game in the Scottish Cup quarterfinals this weekend. Jamie says pundits continuing to overlook Hearts 1 year into a 10-year plan with Tony Bloom. Hearts aren't going anywhere, regardless of what the Old Firm think. They've done a brilliant job, haven't they? Derek McInnes deserves a lot of credit as well. I know Tony Bloom gets a lot of the praise, but Derek McInnes deserves a lot of praise too.
Yeah, and I think if you're not a Rangers or a Celtic fan, you want Hearts to win it, don't you? I think it'd be a refreshing change. And
Some Rangers
I think they deserve
Celtic
it.
fans feel like that, actually.
I think they deserve it over the course of the season.
We'll find out what happens on Sunday. Game Day live this Sunday. We've got all the games, actually. We'll be keeping you updated from all the games as we do the commentaries on Fulham against Southampton. I know you're doing that one. Leeds against Norwich in action. Full day of FA Cup programming this Sunday as well, live on talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2. Remember, tonight we've got Wolves against Liverpool for you. It kicks off all 8 of the FA Cup ties, which we have commentary on the radio station. Make sure you join us for that. Of course, Mansfield Arsenal tomorrow sticks out of the page, doesn't it? This is talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook and Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Let's go to Lauren, who's Arsenal fan. All right, Lauren? Lauren?
Oh, hi, Jamie. Sorry, it's actually Laura, the Arsenal fan.
All right, Laura.
Hi, how are you, boys?
Yeah, we're good. How are you? You feeling good?
Up the Chelsea.
Oh, I'm feeling great. I've just come fresh off the back of presenting the Arsenal game on TNT and just, to be honest, really enjoyed it, Jay.
Oh, it's Woodsy.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Woodsy. Woodsy, you've done it.
What's happening?
Woodsy, why is it taking you so long to phone us up?
Do you know what? I've been revelling in a brilliant season and I've just been enjoying myself.
You know what? It's bad if Woodsy's phoning us up. It's bad. Hold on. Where have you been when you've been bottling it, Woodsy? What's happened? All of a sudden you go 7 points clear and you phone us.
Jamie, I had to scroll down my phone. It took about 5 minutes to find you on the table.
Oh, Woodsy, this is a
scrolling.
Spurs ain't even played and it's the worst night for us ever. Like, what is going on?
I don't even want to answer questions. I just want to ask you how you're feeling.
Woodsy, take the floor.
Woodsy.
I'll sit back and enjoy it. All right, take the
Woodsy,
floor.
I feel sick. I feel sick as a dog right now, honestly.
How awful is it? How bad on a scale of like 1 to Spurs is it right now?
I can't believe I'm getting stick off Woodsy.
Woodsy, can I ask you,
up talkSPORT.
Woodsy, can I ask you a question? Woodsy, do you want Spurs to get relegated?
If I had a choice of which one, is that what you're asking me?
Woodsy, answer whatever way you want, right? Do you want Spurs to get relegated?
No, I absolutely don't want Spurs to get relegated because I want to enjoy more North London derby pummeling for years to come. For years to come.
The clock is ticking, and you've got till 4 p.m. today for your chance to win the ultimate summer day out for you and 11 of your best mates. How does a VIP suite at the Cricket sound? Thanks to Pitch Experiences, we're sending you to a luxury super box at the Oval for England versus Sri Lanka, the ODI. We're taking the full VIP treatment, fine dining, your own personal mixologist, a private balcony, and a Q&A with cricket legends while you soak up the live action. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Well, listen up. Here's how to enter. All you have to do is text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. You can call 0343 418 7260. Lines closed today at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone. If it rings, 18 plus, UK residents only. It's a talkSPORT promotion. Full T's and C's apply at talksport.com. And for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. Dear, oh dear. Crookie was just laughing about the fact that he said I got the hump with him once upon a time when I was left on my own in the studio because he'd arranged to go racing.
Why did you leave him on his own, Crookie?
Yeah, I think it was his co-host who left him on his own.
It was out of order. And he said, I got the hump with him and blamed him. And then he admitted the reason he didn't talk to me for half the day was because just before I was about to go on air on my own, he sent me a picture of him at a racecourse with a beer in his hand.
Not
like
just
that.
any racecourse, Cheltenham.
Sometimes you just have to block out the noise. And that's what Bukayo Saka is suggesting that you should be doing if you're an Arsenal player. He said he's not worried about the rising tide of criticism that is being directed in the direction of the Arsenal players. And they've got to realise that they want to do one thing and one thing alone, which is winning football matches. I know that Fabian Hertzler complained about Arsenal's time wasting before the match and during the match and after the match on Wednesday night. But Arsenal, despite receiving a number of pot shots on social media, are focused on doing one thing, and that is just winning. We don't listen to that stuff. I don't see it. I don't read it. It's not beneficial in any way. We just want to continue going our way, and that's winning. People will say what they want to say. Whether we play the most beautiful football, if we score from a set piece, they will still talk. For us, we just want to win games, and we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season. That was Bukayo Saka. And he's right, isn't he? They have to just filter out the noise.
100%. Don't listen to a thing. Do what's best for Arsenal. No one's going to remember in 20 years that Arsenal won the Premier League and they scored a lot of set pieces and they played boring football. No one's going to care. And what I would do with my wind-up mentality, if I was Arsenal, any set piece you score off, every player go and run to the bench and celebrate. Celebrate even more when you score from a set piece. Time waste even more till you're told not to, just to wind people up. They put a social media post up yesterday on their social media. Arsenal, it was like an advert, wasn't it, about corner shop and corners. Quite funny.
You say no one's going to talk about it in 20 years' time. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're going to talk about the fact you've won the league. If you're not an Arsenal fan, when it comes to comparing great champions, is this team going to be part
Who
of the
cares
conversation?
about that?
No. They're not going to be.
They haven't won anything. They haven't won the title for 22 years. Do you think they really care about doing it in a certain fashion?
No, if you're an Arsenal fan, you don't care at all. But I think Fabian Hertzler had a point. As a neutral,
I think Fabian
I didn't enjoy that game.
What about his
I
own
think
problems?
Fabian Hertzler went
I didn't enjoy
over
that
the
game
top.
the other night.
And all this talk about Arsenal using the dark arts, coming out and putting pressure on the referee, is just another version of doing that.
Yeah, agreed. And it backfired a little bit because the referee didn't really play ball. But there was one situation which really stood out for me in the second half. David Raya, who wasn't overly worked, for all the good football Brighton played, they didn't create too many chances. Jorginho Rutter gets a shot away just inside the penalty area. It's a good save down to his right by David Raya. He falls to his right-hand side and he goes down for 3 or 4 minutes holding his left shoulder. Now, you tell me how you injure your left shoulder falling on your right one.
I'm not suggesting that these things didn't happen.
Yeah.
I think what Fabian Hertzler isn't wrong to suggest that there is tactics that are employed by Arsenal to bend the rules to make maximum benefit for them. But by raising the narrative in the pre-match press conference and his pre-match interview just before kickoff and standing on the touchline for the whole match in the ear of the fourth official, trying to whip up the crowd, I think it worked against his team rather than for his team.
100%.
And what he was doing was trying to influence the outcome of the match with his narrative, which is basically another form of dark art to which what Arsenal do with their delaying the tactics of the game.
I just feel that the way he spoke as well about Arsenal, the way they play football, I'd rather not play like that if that's what you want to do to win. But you're not in a position where Brighton are going to win the Premier League. Arsenal now are probably thinking, We will win every game 1-0 and score off a corner, and that can be our only shot on goal. We don't care. It's about getting over the line.
Nonsense as well, because if Brighton were in a cup final and they were playing against, I don't know, let's say Manchester City, and they had the chance to win the game 1-0 off a set piece, do you think they'd take it?
Crookie, what do you want them to do? Arsenal play man for man and like just
listen, the only argument I would have, and
I
think you have to praise how pig-headed and stubborn they are when it comes to, defensively. I mean, Premier League Player of the Year probably is Gabriel.
Yes, agreed.
Because this is a title win that is built in the sort of George Graham mould of 1-0 to the Arsenal as opposed to the free-flowing football under Arsene Wenger. But I do think they've got better players going forward that maybe Mikel Arteta could just have a little bit more trust in to go out and win games.
But what if they did?
Hold on,
then there might be 15 points ahead.
You also say that it's built on the George Graham model, and that's fair enough, yeah. But also, do you remember when Arsene Wenger came in? One of the other things that he injected,
he had that back four,
was a serious level of physicality in midfield. Yes. He had the best back four, and he had serious physicality.
Yeah, but let's not pretend Vieira and Petit couldn't play a bit as well.
Well, they could, but they had physicality too.
Nothing wrong with that.
Suggesting that Gabriel and Saliba can't play a bit.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And Rice can't play a bit. They can.
But are we seeing the best out of Bukayo Saka week in, week out?
No, we're not.
But that's because they're playing against teams a lot of the time. The Premier League has become where you've got the best teams attacking some teams that would prefer to go into a low block and make it difficult for you to play. So if you're going to come up against that week in, week out, you've got to come up with a solution.
So
and their solution is to be more...
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yep, I'd rather see...
I'm not saying it in that sort of cliched manner, but yeah.
I'd rather see Lewis Skelly at left back. More attacking than Hincapie.
But exactly, but he's been fantastic.
But Hincapie is obviously better defensively. That's why he started between Calafiori and Lewis Skelly. But what I say to the rest of the Premier League is, there's no point moaning about how Arsenal are playing because if they did start playing better football, maybe they will score more goals and maybe they'd win more games. And the lead they'd have now will probably be 15 points. So it's down to the rest of the Premier League to liven up. Otherwise, Arsenal will keep dominating.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that there was so much noise about it this week in particular. And as Martin Keown actually said a couple of weeks ago, he was suggesting that actually feels as if when Arsenal do it, there is a little bit more attention on it. However, it is worth pointing out that Emmanuel Petit has backed him up over the last couple of weeks. Even Ali McCoist has said it as well. And I think Fabian Herzler jumped on the narrative at the wrong time because people were starting to say, oh, hold on a second, you're probably going a little bit too far with the anti-Arsenal.
But his comments were... your mate Alan Pardew, who said if they win the league this year, it will come with an asterisk.
He was sitting next to you at the time when he said that.
He was.
There's probably your influence on it.
No,
I think you were whispering in his ear.
But Sam Herzler says...
Do you agree with that, though? Will it come
no, I don't.
It's nonsense. And I love Pards, and as you well know, I've got a hell of a lot of respect for him.
It's nonsense. That's
we do hang out in the same places. You're right. He's a good bloke, but the idea of saying that there's an asterisk against the name of a team because they've won something is wrong. Because if you go back to, let's go back to the Jose Mourinho teams.
Yes.
Do you think that Inter Milan have got an asterisk next to their name for the football that they play when they won the Champions League? Do you think that the Greece have got an asterisk next to their name for when they won the European Championship?
Yeah, I think they have a little bit.
But you see the problem.
That was a terrible tournament.
The problem that I've got with Herzler's comments.
Portugal won the European Championships. They didn't win a game in the group stage.
Sam, the problem I've got with Herzler's comments, like he said after the game, there was only one team who tried to play football today. I'll never be that kind of manager who tries to win in that way. Find a way to beat how Arsenal are playing. You didn't play great yourself, your Brighton team, did they, Crookie?
I thought they played quite well, to a point.
Yesterday, you come on the show. You come on the show yesterday and said they weren't great themselves.
No, they were a better team. They didn't create.
They didn't look like they were going to score.
Brighton didn't create enough chances.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't create enough chances, but they played the better football.
But it's about winning football matches. Herzler should look at his own team and what they've done this season. I thought he was quite immature as well from him, to be honest. He's quite a young manager, isn't he? Quite immature, had a bit of a head loss. I'm sure he probably regrets some of his comments afterwards.
Does anyone talk about the Conte mopping it up, putting it wide to Mahrez, knocking it over the top for Vardy to run onto 10 years later? No, people remember who won the league that season. It's all anyone ever remembers, not how they achieved it. That's Dan, the Newcastle fan. It's not just set pieces. They're literally cheating their way to the title, says Daniel Smith. Bit strong. 03717 2233 That's the number to get in touch via WhatsApp, or you can text us 81089. This is talkSPORT.
every game, every week, where
yes.
the goalkeepers go over. They do that one where they go up for the ball, they jump, and then they fall forward, and they waste 4 or 5 seconds on the floor. Every single goalkeeper does
I liked what you said before that, though, Gary. We're closing ranks, and we're just getting on with it. Daniel's a big Arsenal fan. Do you agree with Gary there, Daniel? You're closing ranks, and you're just getting on with it.
I fully agree with Daniel. I fully agree with Gary.
Yeah.
Reason being is, do you remember before Arteta joined Arsenal, how Arsenal was before? We were walk the ball into the net, weak old Arsenal. You can't win games like that. Now we're strong Arsenal, we're boisterous Arsenal, and I love the fact that we're playing housery. Love it. Finally, Arsenal are doing a bit of housery, what every other team has been doing for the last 40 years that I've been alive. Why is it that Arsenal seems to be the problem?
Right. Okay. Why do you think that this is the top topic of conversation this morning? Because everybody else outside Arsenal, it seems, isn't having it.
Well, it could be down to jealousy. It could be down to Gabby Agbonlahor spatting out rubbish, or Jamie O'Hara, jealous O'Hara, spatting his rubbish.
Okay.
It could be down to that.
You're not bothered, Daniel. As long as you drive towards winning this title, that's all that counts.
No way. Arsenal! Arsenal! Arsenal!
Okay. Daniel, thank you for that.
Could Spurs genuinely go down? Well, thousands of home fans left the ground early during their 3-1 loss to Palace. Igor Tudor insists the good ship Spurs is sailing towards survival, though.
I said now to the players, the boat is going one direction. Who want to stay there can stay. Who don't want to be out can jump out. I think we'll be good. I believe.
But with Tudor's side just a point above the relegation zone, the sports bar boys are calling for another managerial change.
You need someone in at that football club who cares about it, who has an affiliation to it, who's going to get the fans on side, who's actually going to support
After Cheltenham, get Harry in.
Well,
after Cheltenham.
Well, I reckon Harry Redknapp should get a phone call tonight.
Elsewhere, Forest global head of football Edu has been asked to stay away from the club's training ground and stadium, with his future there in major doubt. Luke Littler says his win on night 5 of the Premier League darts is a statement to everyone out there. And with a heavy heart, Steve Harmison says it's time for Brendan McCullum to go.
He's changed the narrative of the way English cricket looks. He's been front foot cricket. It's been exciting. It's been enjoyable. But just for that Ashes alone, I think somebody needs to be accountable.
McCullum himself wants to stay on, though, after England were narrowly beaten by India in the T20 World Cup semi-final.
Loads of response to our Arsenal discussion, by the way. Dee says, gents, just as we have lauded Pep for his football, which the game has taken inspiration from, the pass mentality, are we saying that we ruined the Premier League product by adopting the Arsenal method? The game has gone. Nothing that encourages kids to use jumpers for goalposts and wheel away after scoring a screamer with your favourite player's name. being howled. Game's gone, lads. Have a fab day. Great show, says D. Joe Price says, got to say, Alex Crook sounds like a jealous fan. I'm a Man United fan, and I know for a fact if we were top of the league playing this way, Alex would be saying exactly the same as Arteta and the Arsenal fans.
Of course you would.
I would rather them win the league than City or Liverpool. Plus, next year there's less chance of them repeating it as teams will just adjust the way that the teams
Crook,
are.
you'd be saying it's clever if this was Manchester United in Arsenal position. You'd be saying, like, you know what? It's a winning mentality.
No fan's going to complain if they're winning games. But from a neutral perspective, I didn't enjoy it in midweek.
You're just desperate to pick holes in other people's success. That's the problem. Nick is an Arsenal fan. Hello.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. I was at the Amex on Wednesday night watching Arsenal get what it felt like at the time a significant victory. What do you think?
Do you know what it was, mate? It was, but yeah, look, I think that all the negativity going around about the way we're playing and how we could potentially win the league. Yeah, let me put it another way. We've spoilt you guys. We gave you the Invincibles. We gave you Bergkamp, Henry, Petit, Vieira. These guys play football like you've never seen it before. So I take it as a little bit of a compliment because we're not playing that razzle-dazzle football that we gave you before, that everyone else then tried to emulate, tried to achieve. You know, so I think let's win the league this year. Touch wood, we'll win it. I'm still not overconfident because we could have a little wobble like we have done the last few years. If we do, Arteta's got to go, by the way. But I think if we win it this year, then I think ultimately next year you'll see us spraying that ball around like majestic football.
I am slightly concerned that you're in a situation where you could win the league, and yet your point is that if you don't win the league, sack the manager.
Well, absolutely, because he's knocked on the door too many times. He's hit the post too many times. He's had the money. He's had 5 years worth of backing now from the club. So, you know, at the end of the day, he's got to produce something, hasn't he? We're not a Man U. We're not a Tottenham.
Well, no wonder he's reverted to rudimentary football. If that's the standard that we're holding him to, that he has to win the league, otherwise he's going to be out of a job. No wonder he's reverted to set pieces.
Nick, when you pay for your ticket to go and watch Arsenal, are you entertained?
Listen, we win and thump the team, then yeah, we are. But look, we all have bad days, don't we? Every team has bad days.
I'm saying, do you leave the Emirates? Are you entertained after a game?
Sometimes, not every time. When we thump Tottenham 4-1, you know, then we're entertained. Well, we could thump them 1-0 and we'll be entertained. But at the end of the day, you know, and then we're going to have a bad game like we do against Brighton. You know, it happens to every team, and it happens to every individual and every human. We all have bad days in our lives, and I think, yeah, as long as we can get it over the line this year, then that takes the pressure off him a bit. Yeah, he's doing what he needs to win it this year, I think.
Okay, cheers. Thank you very much, Nick. Appreciate that. 03717223333 on the WhatsApp if you want to get in touch. Why the comments about Arsenal winning 1-0? They've only won 4 games 1-0, which is the same amount of times they've won 3-0. True. I mean, I must admit, I leaned into the 1-0 to the Arsenal thing in the game on Wednesday night, but that's because historically they were famous for that back in the day. George Ellis says, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm fed up to death of this anti-Arsenal agenda. We play to win. If it's such a bad way to play, why is there no team in front of us, eh? Joey says, no one was complaining when Mourinho won the league by parking the bus. Exactly what we said earlier on. Arsenal are a boring team who use the dark arts, but that's only because the officials allow them to get away with it. The officials need to step up. Arsenal are only doing what they're allowed to do, says Carl B. Now, it's not the fact that they score from set pieces, says another texter. It's the manner in which they do so. Every set piece Arsenal have, there's 2 or 3, 4 fouls. The refs seem to ignore it. The players don't even look at the ball defending corners. They manhandle players. The only people who can stop it is the refs, but they're falling for every trick in the book. Now, interestingly, I think this has become a bit of and it's not just Arsenal, and to pretend that it is nonsense because it happens at every set piece across the land. Now, there is quite a sort of big discussion about the VAR reforms that are coming in. The IFAB have announced a host of new measures to embrace further input from VAR to try and stop this all from happening. What do you think about how you solve the issues around grappling at set pieces? Because it has got
penalties.
Ridiculous. But you can't give a penalty unless the ball is in play. So everyone does it.
Yeah, you wait. Why do the referees keep going over and calling players over? The one that stood out for me was Everton and Manchester United.
Did you hear Danny Murphy in the week? He explained that. He said he'd spoken to a referee about that, and the suggestion is that the part of the referee's job is to be preventing situations.
Tarkowski and Yoro were doing it, and then Maguire got involved. Just watch it as a referee, let the corner come in, and then you decide. It could be a foul against the attacking team or a penalty for the attacking
But
team.
the players are clever, so what they do is they do their grappling, their holding, they unsettle their
And stop.
opponents before the ball is kicked. Once the ball is kicked and the ball's in play, they stop. That player's already unsettled, but you can't give a foul against them until they do something whilst the ball is in play. So there's been a sort of learnt behaviour over the last couple of years where they've adapted to the rules.
So therefore, say there's a slightly different rule, I think you're going to tell me. If there's a melee after the half-time or full-time whistle, and I was to push you over...
You can't give a free kick, can you?
But can you? You can give a sending off for that, can't you?
If it's violent conduct.
Yeah.
Okay, then look at when Declan Rice had his arms round with João Pedro.
But it's the same...
And it hit his arm.
Yeah.
That was while the ball was in the air.
Yeah, it should have been a penalty.
Exactly. That's the problem.
And
It
to be fair,
happened.
should Brighton not have had a penalty the other night? Martinelli's not looking at the ball when he brings down Max Vifa.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That this is the problem. Like, stop going and warning them. It's boring. Everyone's switching off then. Let the corner come in. Watch who's pulling penalty. They'll soon stop. Once you start giving penalties out, you'll be like, okay, just keep your hands to yourself. Just go and win the header. 50-50 challenge, isn't it?
English football apparently is open to the idea of a coach's challenge for subjective VAR decisions. It would reduce VAR delays. The FA is in favour of trialling a similar system using cricket where 2 unsuccessful challenges per match are permitted.
All the league.
Teams keep their challenges if they are successful. One potential trial could involve VAR covering just factual decisions, such as offsides, but not subjective decisions, such as fouls or handballs. And therefore, if you were... So basically, you're shaking your head, but it's taking VAR out of the game, stripping it back, so it only gets involved in factual decisions. And then when you think there might be a subjective decision, you throw in a coach's challenge.
It's becoming more like the NFL every day, isn't it? Stop, start. We'll be there all night, honestly.
Well, the idea is to reduce...
I've never heard so much rubbish in all my life. Gabs?
Do you understand it? What they're trying to do, though?
It won't work. How long does a challenge take?
Well, how long does a VAR review take?
Just get rid of the technology altogether.
For example, the Ashley Barnes thing that took 4 minutes 38 seconds, that wouldn't be reviewed under this system that they're proposing unless someone came out and challenged it.
Why can't they just review like the Ashley Barnes incident in less time?
Yeah.
It really doesn't take 4 minutes to see
totally
if it's
agree with
handball.
you, but they
just do it quicker. That's the problem.
Do you think the technology has improved the game and the standard of refereeing, or has it made it worse?
No, it's made the refereeing worse because the referees are more cautious about giving decisions and they're happy to lean on 50-50.
So should we just biff it off?
On VAR.
Is there
They're not
VAR?
going to do that, so it's a moot.
Sam,
moot
is
point.
there
They
VAR
won't
this
do it.
weekend or not? Or
Yes.
not yet? There is now.
Introduced into the fifth round of the FA Cup, so Mansfield are experiencing VAR for the first time.
I bet they can't wait.
Because look at the Villa Newcastle game, the mistakes that were made in that game.
I mean, it was crazy.
For Newcastle's sake, they went going through the next stage. If they didn't, imagine the uproar.
Well, that was the handball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Inside the penalty area. That was given as a free.
Digne's tackle as well was quite high, wasn't it?
Yes.
As well, that could have been a red card. So the referees have got, not lazy, but they've got reliant on VAR. So they're not really as good as they used to be.
So you're not up for a subjective challenge?
No, I'm with Crookie.
I think it actually might stop the amount of interventions from VAR because I don't think that Ashley Barnes one, I don't think Burnley would have thrown the flag
I
in.
guess also they know if there's going to be a challenge, then the TV companies can get their adverts ready, can't they?
Oh, true. Yep.
Really Americanise it.
Well said. I'll pay your wages, Crookie.
Got to pay his.
FA Sam.
This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com. We'll have a look at the FA Cup fifth round in just a few moments here on talkSPORT with the two donuts.
Has anyone seen Manchester United? Has Has anyone seen Michael Carrick's new contract? New job offer. Contract. Job offer. Can you hear me contract? You must have went hell of a beating Fergie. Blessing Ruben Amorim. Where have you been, Ruben Amorim? Eric Ten Hag. Wreck-It Ralph. Can you hear me, Wreck-It Ralph? You must have went hell of a beating Ollie at the wheel. Is that right, mate? What's happening? It's all gone wrong. Help me out, quick. Help me out. Help me out. Has anyone seen Darren Fletcher? Has anyone seen Fred the Red? Fred the Red, your boy took one hell of a beating Mick Hucknall. The Big Rat Barbecue. The Big Rat Barbecue. Can you hear me, Big Rat? Your boy took one hell of a beating Alex Crook. Frank Isler. Can you hear me, Crookie? Andy Goldstein. Andy Goldstein. You always took one hell of a beating. Has anyone seen Aston Villa? Has anyone seen Gabby Agbonlahor? Your boy took one hell of a beating up the shells.
Terrible night for Spurs. We ain't even kicked a ball. Arsenal put themselves 7 points clear at the top of the table. They were shocking, though, but they managed to win. Man City threw it away. West Ham won. They're starting to look decent. Nottingham Forest get a point. Spurs, oh, wow, we're 1 point above the drop zone. What is going on? Chelsea, they made a statement. 4-1 win. What on earth has happened to Aston Villa? They fell off
a cliff.
They have gone. And Manchester United, woo! What's happened there? They've thrown that away as well.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
It's talkSPORT, and joining us now is Jermaine Pennant from Inside Liverpool to discuss how Arne Slot needs to demand more from his players ahead of tonight's repeat against Wolves. Jermaine.
Look, he's going to have solid and tough words with the players. You've got to get them in and then say, listen, right, the bare minimum, I want you to run more than them. I want you to run around more than these guys. I want you to tackle more than these guys. And we've got so many coaching staff and stats that they can get. And I say, if you lot don't come in and covered more grass than these guys, that's just the basics. Then you may not be here next season. I need players who want to work. You've got to be hard. You've got to be aggressive to get. Some players need that. You need to hear that as a team. So listen, if you don't work for me, then obviously you don't want to work for this club. You don't want to play for me. Then you won't be here next season.
That was Jermaine Pennant. And don't forget, you can watch all the latest Inside Series episodes live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel. That's all thanks to BetMGM. 18 plus. Be gamble aware. .org.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
You were very dismissive of the VAR situation and the way to police grappling at set pieces. We've had hundreds of calls and hundreds of text messages, but you're just not interested, are you? Just like
Well, it depends.
Have you checked out? Is it 8 minutes to? You've decided you want to go already?
No, I've got Cheltenham to get ready for. What are they saying though? Are they in agreement with you?
That's the 12th mention.
There should be more technology or less.
Well, we don't know because we couldn't get to them because you were so dismissive.
Oh, okay.
Well, we don't want more technology. The idea of that rule, which if you listen to what I suggested to you, was less technology, less influence of technology.
How about we
Did
just
you
go
get
back?
that or
How
not?
about we just go back to the old system? No need for technology.
Oh, why don't we just get a Cortina?
Interference.
Why don't we just go back to smoking in pubs? Yeah, great idea. Let's just go back to the 80s.
The 80s were a good decade, Gabby.
You don't even remember the 80s.
Good years. But what about, Sam? It's not all bad news whoever gets relegated, is it? 8 teams now. Different for the playoffs, Cookie.
I'm in favour of that. I think that's good. Listen, what's the best thing?
You didn't like change a second ago. Now you like change.
What's the best thing about the EFL? The playoffs. They're brilliant. The more teams involved, it keeps the season.
Imagine you finish third, and you got 20 more points than whoever finished 8th.
But that can happen if you finish third and the team in 6th go up. I think that's a good development.
What do you think, FA Sam?
I think we'll see over the next couple of years. I think there was a little bit of scepticism when the playoffs first came in and they made a mistake with the playoffs. They decided to put the fourth bottom team in the top flight were involved in the playoffs in the first couple of years.
Didn't Chelsea have to play a relegation play?
Chelsea got relegated in a playoff as a result of losing a semi-final to Middlesbrough over 2 legs. That was back in 1987-88. But they refined the system and they got it right in the end, and it was been brilliant for 30 years. I think if you alter it now, you are going to be under scrutiny if you get it wrong. So I hope they've got it right.
Well, the team that finishes 8th is not the greatest of teams, and they get to the Premier League.
This is the problem. A lot of the teams that have come up through the system already have been directly relegated. It's very difficult to compete in the Premier League. So if you're going further down the pack and bringing people up from deeper in that division, then obviously the quality is going to be lower and the chance of them surviving is also going to be lower.
Good news for Spurs.
So we shall see.
They should finish
top 8.
They should finish top 8.
They've got more chance of coming back up, Sam.
You two are bad boys. Quick word on Liverpool Wolves tonight. Wolves entertaining Liverpool at Molineux again. I know it's one of your favourite places.
Yes, love
Did you
scoring
ever score
there.
there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Did you?
celebrating in front.
Someone said actually, Gabby kept going on during that Old Firm chat about all the goals he scored at St Andrews. Didn't you only ever get 2?
St Andrews? No, scored 3 at St Andrews.
Did you?
Yes, 2.
He did say
two
multiple.
winners.
He said multiple.
Multiple goals.
Multiple, yeah, multiple.
Is that 3?
Yeah, 3's multiple.
Is it?
But then scored, I think, 4 maybe at Villa Park against him. 3
Did
or
you?
4, yeah. I'm not sure. I lost count, Sam.
Was that in the Championship or the Premier League?
Premier League, mate.
Right, just checking.
Yeah. Just shush the crowd and, a few winners. But Wolves tonight, I feel that Wolves will go strong. You've got to give the fans joy. It's been a dreadful season. Rob Edwards will be thinking, why not go and beat Liverpool again? But I think Liverpool make changes. I'm trying to think who, though, because they haven't got a big squad of players.
Start.
Yeah, he'll start. Yeah. Who else, though? I'm trying to think.
Chiesa will start.
Yes. Robertson.
Would you leave Salah in just because he's ended his goal drought?
I would, yes.
No?
Gomez will start. So I'm thinking the more you think of Liverpool changes, the more I'd back Wolves to win tonight again, Crookie.
Yeah, I think it could be a tough night.
Yes.
Their home record since the turn of the year, since Rob came in, he's
done brilliantly.
Yeah, he has.
Because
he got a lot of unfair stick for leaving Middlesbrough.
Simon's been a bit harsh on him as well, Mr. Jordan.
Very
harsh on him.
Be interested to see what happens. He's live on talkSPORT tonight, by the way. That one of 8 live games over the weekend, which we're bringing you from the FA Cup. Every single game from the FA Cup 5th round is live on talkSPORT.
Are you doing 6 of those this weekend?
No.
Okay.
3.
That's quite a big percentage. Nearly half.
No, I'm doing 2 for the television and 1 talkSPORT on Monday night.
You've got to give someone else a chance.
He does let other people occasionally.
People are hungry for work, Sam. And you're just hogging all the gigs.
Oh, that's what you're doing, apparently. According to Martin Keown, says you're on every show.
You actually don't need anybody else. You just get him and Ali McCoy.
Yeah, exactly. Tell Martin he can fill in for me when the next time Bentley's off drive.
By the way, can I just say, you've got to stop making things up, because you said how you did your UEFA badges with Ruben Amorim and everyone proved that wasn't true.
Oh, I did.
Apparently, you only scored 1 goal at Molineux as well, according to the internet.
I didn't say I scored more than 1.
Oh, right,
I said I scored at Molineux.
Oh, right,
I said multiple against Birmingham City.
Did you not do your coaching badges with the
I did with Ruben Amorim.
A real coach.
Well, Alex Bruce was with me the second year. I done them with Amorim my first year. I don't like rookie.
What year was it? What license was that?
My UEFA B.
Right.
Yeah, then done my
To be
UEFA
fair, he wouldn't lie. It's not exactly a claim to fame, is it?
Exactly.
Have you still not said his name?
No.
Yeah,
Ruben. Ruben deserves a second chance somewhere, Cookie.
You can have it in Portugal.
Right, that's it from us. We're back next Friday to look ahead to the Premier League's return. And, of course, Charlie Baker and Andy Jacobs coming up very shortly. Remember, all of those commentaries this weekend live on talkSPORT if you want the FA Cup. This is the place to get it.
The fact that Arsenal, yet again, seem to have grinded out a result, this time at Brighton last night. But Simon, did you say in the passing there seems to be some kind of bias towards Arsenal or against Arsenal? As we went into that break, you were saying to me, there is undoubtedly a bias. Is there a bias?
Well, it feels like